Hello guys, in this video we are going to learn about HTML and CSS, which is the hypertext markup language and the cascading style sheet. The hypertext markup language, which is known as HTML, with the file extension HTML, allows you to build the structure of the website, which is using a coding way to build the structure of the website. And the cascading style sheet allows you to format the website, add colors, do many other kind of amazing stuff to the CSS and make it much more amazing. All right, in this full course, I'm going to make sure that at the end you are so comfortable with this popular markup languages. All right, so let's get started with this course. All right, guys, so getting started writing HTML and CSS code as a beginner, you need to have a code editor, and we are going to use the Visual Studio Code Editor by Microsoft. So head to this website, code.visualstudio.com. Link is in the description. So in this website, you can see we have VS Code for Windows 10 and 11, Linux, and Mac OS. Alright, so select the operating system that you want currently and download your Visual Studio Code so we can continue on this awesome course. Finish downloading it and let's continue this course. Alright, so by now you've installed your Visual Studio Code and now you have the setup, which I have my mouse button right now. I have mine installed already, so click on the setup you have installed from the website that we visited right here and download your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so after installing the setup, open the Visual Studio Code. So let's wait for the Visual Studio Code to open for us to start writing amazing code. Alright, you'll see something like this when you install Visual Studio Code. Let me zoom in for you to see it well. Alright, so this is what we're going to see. Now this means you need to start VS Code by creating a folder where you're going to store the files, the HTML files, the CSS files. So on our desktop, let's create a folder and name it HTML or any other name that you would recognize. Position it well, and now let's go back to our Visual Studio Code and click on Open Folder right here. So when you select it, you go to the place where you created the HTML folder. Alright, so I created mine on the desktop, so I'm selecting it on the desktop as HTML, which is empty folder. Alright, so I select my folder, then I click on select folder. Alright, now I have successfully opened the folder in the Visual Studio Code, and now I can start writing amazing HTML code. Okay, so this is how to set up the HTML in a set up your VS Code and start writing code. In our next videos, we are going to learn the basic HTML and some things you need to know to get started with the HTML. So let's continue this course. Okay, so congratulations for coming this far in this HTML and CSS course with VSCODES. Alright, now we are about to learn the basic HTML and right after this HTML code. So right here, as this is where we ended in the last chapter, in the last lesson. You can see some icons right here. Click on this one. It says new file. In the new file, type in index. And the index is the file name you are going to give to the HTML. So index, then add .html, which is the extension telling VS Code that we want to write an HTML, we want to create an HTML file. So add .html. And as you can see, the logo changes to the HTML logo. So press enter to save. And as you can see on the screen, we have the HTML file right there, which starts with number 1. Now we are going to write your first code in HTML and preview your first website. So right here, write this kind of code. You might not understand, but you're going to learn more. So write this code. H1, just like this, with less than and equal, less than and greater than signs, and with this backslash sign. Then type in hello world and save this. Alright. Now click on the Explorer area to view where your file is. Left click on this HTML file that we created and click on copy path right here. Open your browser and paste it in your browser URL bar and press enter. Hello world, congratulations for creating your first website. So you are going to start your journey creating amazing websites with HTML. Okay, let's continue this course. Alright, now you've created your first HTML application, which is Hello World application. Okay, so we are going to learn about the basic HTML. Right here in your HTML file, hit Shift+1, making it simple for you. I can see some code written on the screen. This is the basic HTML code. We start from the HTML tag to the head tag to the body tag. The head tag contains the viewport and the title of the document. Let me explain the viewport. The viewport let your website become responsive for both mobile, tablet, and desktop. It makes it responsive but not effective. You have to use some CSS to make it much more effective, which is called media queries. But you're going to learn more at the end of this course, so stay motivated and stick with the course, and you're going to find out all of them. All right, and the title is the title of the website. To show you a practical example, let us run this. At first, before you continue on this course, make sure you download Live Server. I forgot to tell you that in the previous lesson. Download Live Server, because we can't keep copying path before you can view our websites in the web browser. So download Live Server so we can enable live changes without saving the file. Alright, so after downloading this Live Server, come back to the HTML. Left click on the file and click on open with Live Server, and it's going to open on your default browser. Alright, so as you can see, the website's open. This is our website. You have nothing there, and you can see on top here where my mouse pointer is, there is document. That is the title. The title right here is document. So if I change the title to, let's say, coding, and I save it, the title changes to coding. You see, so that is the meaning of the title. And you also have something called description. Let me show you right here. Write this code, less than sign and meta tags, and name should be equal to description, and content should be called, let's say, coding websites for beginners. Alright, now let me save this. This is going to show nothing in the websites though, but let me show you what it means, what the description means. So right here, if you see I've searched QWESICODES on Google right here, and you can see this thing. QWESICODES 110 subscribers, 4 videos, learn web programming and build projects with QWESICODES. You are a legend, please subscribe. That is the description under that web page on YouTube, which is QWESICODES YouTube channel. Alright, so let's say if I search for Facebook, right here, if I search for Facebook, it's going to show me some stuffs under the links. My internet may be running slow, so I might not be able to. Alright, so it came. So you can see Facebook login or sign up. You can see what's under it. Create an account or log into Facebook, connect with friends, family, and other people you know. Share photos and videos, send messages, and get updates. You can see where I've highlighted. That is the description of that web page. So the description of this web page, see, this one, when you upload your website to a search engine and someone search for it, this is going to show coding website for beginners, all right? So because you are not yet there, but you have to understand that part as well, alright? So this is the basic HTML, everything you need to know about the basic HTML. So whenever you're about to write an HTML, this is what you should first write. The first code you should write before you get started writing HTML. So make sure you download the live server as I said, because without a live server you cannot preview your website and enable it changes without saving it. Alright, let's move on. Hello, now let's continue on our amazing HTML and CSS course with heading tags in HTML. If you've come this far to the course and you are not facing any problem, make sure to like this video and let's get started with this lesson. Alright, the heading tag. The heading tag is like writing the heading of a document. Let me show you an example in WordPad. For example, when you start to type something, let's say you want to say meaning of HTML like this. You can just type it like this, but in HTML, you can't type it just like this for it to come. You need to write some code and it should be in some snippets. It should be in something. And this is how the heading tag is declared. It's declared by each. And you know in HTML, it is surrounded by less than signs and greater than signs. So you guess it will be something like this. No, it's not going to be like this. It has sizes. It starts from numbers. It uses numbers to arrange itself from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Alright, so this is the H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. These are the heading tags in HTML. To write a heading tag in HTML, let's head into our HTML document and start writing this code. You remember when we started this course, I made you write something like this. I said hello world. And then we saved it. We'll preview it with our live server right here. Then it came hello world. Right? Right. So this is how it is declared. This is the meaning of the heading tag. As I explained to you in a WordPad document, it's the numbers with it shows how bigger it should be. So the lesser the number, the bigger the size of the text. It's used to write the headings of some stuffs in your website. Let's say your website name, your website this, your website that. There's an article, topic, a heading, or any other heading. Any heading in your website is declared by the heading tag. So it depends on the kind of site you want it to be. Alright, so let's move on to the next one, which is the 2. So you can write H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So the lesser the number, the bigger the text. Alright, now the lesser the number, the bigger the text. So it means the higher the number, the lower the size of the text. So if I write hello world right here, I save it and preview it in the browser, you see it's a little less than the first one. Let me zoom in for you to see it well. As you can see, it's much more smaller. H2 is smaller and H1 is much more bigger. Let's try the H3. Hello world. Let me save this. Let's check the browser, and as you can see, The H3 is also much more lesser than H2. Let's try the H4. Let's preview it in a browser, and as you can see, the H4 is also much more lesser than the H3. Let's try the H5 as well, and the H6. Okay, guys, so as you can see, the H6 is also the smallest, and the H5 is a little bigger. H4, H3, H2, and H1 is the top one. So this is how heading tags are declared. These are heading tags. So you can use heading tags in many areas, but I'm going to show you the importance of heading tags in the lessons ahead. So make sure to learn the key concept right here, which is the H. The H is the key concept right here. It's the key concept. Let me use the opportunity to teach you how to declare comments in HTML. Comment is something that's not part of the code. It will not display. We're just trying to explain something in the code. Just type something like less than sign when this exclamation mark. Then some minus signs, and you see this will happen. Whatever I write here, and I save this, it will not come in the browser. You understand? So let's say you want to explain something, you want to try something, you want to check some spelling, you want to do any kind of thing, you can use comments before you bring it to the real code. All right. So this are how the heading tags are declared in HTML. Let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so now you've learned all the heading tags and know how to use the heading tags. Now we are moving on to the paragraph tag. The paragraph tag is what we use under the heading. For example, let me show you an example right here in the word bar. For example, let's say we have a title of, let's say, YouTube. So this is our heading tag, which we use H14 or in H other limits. Then inside under this, you can type something, but we want you to make it much more smaller. And you can say YouTube is video sharing websites. All right. Now right here, this becomes the heading tag and this becomes the paragraph tag. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Let's do a practical example in HTML. All right. Now, as I said, let's add heading tag of one and let's name it YouTube. Let me save this. And under the YouTube, we need to declare paragraph tag. And the paragraph tag is declared like this. The paragraph tag is declared as P with no number. We don't have P1 or P2. It's just P, paragraph. So let's declare it. As you know, HTML goes with less or less than or greater than sign, less than greater than sign. Alright, so write it. Write this. And just code it and you can see this is what you get. P. So this part this means the paragraph tag. This right here means the paragraph tag. So we can say YouTube is a video sharing platform. Now let me save it and preview and view it in the browser, and as you can see, this becomes the heading tags and this becomes the paragraph tag. So it becomes the content, like the real thing, what the user is reading, what the user, which is not part of the heading, like main content of your website. What write something about something, any kind of thing. Let me show you a real world example of the paragraph tags. So let's head to any website. Let's say let's head to the VSCODES website and find a practical example of this. My internet may be slow, but you can also go and check other websites, find the smaller text on each website. The one used to write blogs and any other things is used in paragraph text. All right. So hope you understand the meaning of the paragraph element. Now you can start using it in your day-to-day HTML coding. Now let's move on to the next lesson. Line breaks. In this lesson, I'm going to learn about line breaks. And line breaks is taking something off an element to the next line whilst they're in the same tag. For example, we can say hello, well, but the line break can help you bring the word under the hello, just like this. For example, we have YouTube. The line break can help you separate them, make the YouTube command down, YouTube, and move it to the next line in the document, in the HTML document. Okay, let me show you an example of what it means. So let's create a heading tag of 2 and let's say coda, something like this. Let's say coda. All right. Now, when we check in the browser, you can see if coda on our website, but we want to move this to the next line. What you need to do is to come close to the text where we want to move it to the next line and write BR / just like this. So the BR means line breaking. You are breaking the line. So if I save this, go to move coda to the next line. I hope you can understand. If you're having any problems, you can put in the comments and we'll answer you. I can also do a practical, let's say paragraph tag. This is VSCODES website. This is QWESICODES website. If I save this right here, you can see they are all together, but I want to move this QWESICODES website to the next line. I can just bring the break line tag right here. Remove this one. This caption, right? So if I save this, you can see it's moved to the next line. Make sure to keep practicing because practice makes perfect. And understand more about how you can use the break line tag. Let's continue this awesome course. Centering text. What does this mean? It means taking content from one end of the page to the center of the page. Let me show you an example right here. For example, if I type hello right here and I highlight this in the web pad application, I can center align this, put it to the center. But in creating a website, how do you do that? All right. You've been told or heard that you can do that using CSS, but it is available in HTML. How you can center content, any type of content, which is in your HTML application. All right. So right here, this is how it's declared. Right center, just like that. Don't forget your less than and greater than signs if it doesn't show automatically. And inside this, whatever you put inside this center tag is going to take to the center. It's going to move to the center. So let's say I put in H1. This is my website. And I save this and we check in the browser. You can see it is in the center of the website. This is my website. I can also add that everything, I can also add a paragraph tag, everything in this website is created by me. If I save this, it's also in the center. Everything in this website is created by me. Okay, so that's what you need to know about centering content. You can add any element in HTML, any tag here, and it will be centered automatically. Alright, we are going to learn more about something in HTML. Make sure to subscribe if you are liking this course and understanding, and comment down below. Let's continue this amazing HTML and CSS course. Horizontal lines. Horizontal lines. How do you add horizontal lines in your HTML website? The horizontal lines is used to divide the website into many parts. Like let's say you want to add a horizontal line there and put the content there. Let me show you a practical example. So this is how the horizontal line is declared. HR. HR stands for horizontal. Now you know HTML is a less than and greater than signs and the actual thing inside it. So it's HR just like this. And your forward slash, then your like greater than sign. Alright. So if you save this right here and preview it in the browser, you can see there's a line running through the left side of the website to the right side of the website. That's how we draw lines in HTML. So let's say you want to separate a content, you want to do any kind of thing. So I can put something on it. Let's say a paragraph tag and say this is my website. And under the line, you can also say under the line. Now, if you check the browser, you can see this is my website and the line separates it and under the line. Alright. The HR can be used for many purposes in creating a website. But you know what you want to create and you're doing projects. So you will understand and know what you would need. But there's also a feature in HTML that you can use in creating a website. Alright. Let's move on to the next lesson. The formatting body tags. The formatting body tags allow you to format the text content in your HTML. For example, let me show you an example in this WordPad application right here. For example, if I say hello, I can underline it, I can italize it, and I can make it bold. You can also do the same thing in HTML by using some formatting body tags. And that is, let me put it in the comments. The O, the U, which means underline, the B, which means bold, and the I, which means italize. There are many other formatting tags out there. So let's try this underline, bold, and italize. So right here, we can clear this U, which is the underline, and say underline this content, underline this text. So if I save this and check in the browser, you can see this is underlined. We want to bold it. So we want to bold the text. Let's declare it just like this, bold by B, then input the text, bold in this text. Let me check in the browser and you can see the next one is also bold. Say bold in this text. Alright. Let me break the line. Let me break the line for it to move to the next line. Now, as you can see, bold in this text. Let's italize the text with using the I tag. Now, italize this text. You can see it's italized. So these are the formatting tags that you need to know. But mind you, you can use it in other tags as well. For example, I can declare a heading tag with, let's say, 2 and add italize tags in. So if I input it here, say hello, the heading tag 2 is going to be italized, as you can see. So you can put it in any kind of element. I can put it in a paragraph tag, as I can underline a paragraph tag right here. I say hello. If I put it in a browser, you can see a paragraph tag is also underlined. So these are some of these are the three main formatting body tags that you can use in the HTML. Alright, let's move on to the next lesson. Ordered lists. In this lesson, we're going to talk about ordered lists. The ordered lists are the kind of lists that you know in word processing, in a word processing board. Let me show you an example right here in the WordPad application. Alright, so I can select a list right here and say 1, 2, 3. So whatever I select, say hello, go to the next line, 2, hi, the next line, how, the next line, welcome. So you see, it just keeps changing. Alright, how do you do this in HTML? you're going to discover how we do this in HTML. So right here inside your body tags, you write OL. You type in OL. The OL means ordered list. And inside it means you are creating an ordered list. And the ordered list starts with numbers by default. So let's see. And the way we declare ordered list is by any kind of tag. Like you use paragraph tag, the heading tag. But there are many other tags that we're going to learn. But right now, we're going to learn the list tag, which starts with li. Alright, so let's create a list tag. A name here, hello. Now let's save it and check the browser. And as you can see, it starts with one hello. Let's create another list tag. Hi. Let's preview it in the browser. You can see it's hello. Hi and hello, which is also ordered accordingly. But you can change the list style in word processing applications, just like the alphabet, the numerals, Roman numerals, and all those kind of stuff. You can also do the same thing in HTML by changing the type of the ordered list right here. So inside the ordered list tag on top of this, type in type. And type, you can see we have one A, capital A, smaller a, and capital I, which is the capital Roman numerals and smaller Roman numerals. So let's say we want smaller Roman numerals. If we save this, they are all going to be listed in Roman numerals. If I change this to capital Roman numerals, they are all going to be saved in capital Roman numerals. If I change this to alphabet, let's say capital A, they are all going to be listed in alphabet, capital alphabet. If I change this to smaller a, it's going to change to smaller alphabet. It's going to be listed by smaller alphabet. All right. And you can start, let's say you can add something called starts to declare what to start with. So let's say you start with B and ends with A or something like that, but it doesn't really work most of the time. But you don't have to worry about that starting things when it comes. The most important thing is this one, and knowing how to add different type of list styles to your list in HTML. All right, let's continue this awesome course. Unordered list. Now the ordered list, you can see we have it is listed according to something. The unordered list, it is listed according to booleans. We don't see anything that is listed. So the unordered list means it's not like according to, it's randomized. And the unordered list, guess the ordered list is OL. So the unordered list will be UL. Unordered list. So ordered list. UL, unordered list, UL. So UL to declare the unordered list, and inside the UL, we can add any tag. So default, let's use the list tag. And I can say books. And I can add another one, pens. Copy this and add another one. Any other kind of thing, let's say eraser. Now let me save this and preview it in a browser. And as you can see, it's bulleted. It is not an ordered list. It's an unordered. Type, you can give it a type of radio or something. So you give it to radio, it will be in radio form. If you give it any kind of, but that's not so important. The most important thing right here is to know that unordered list are listed according to that word, but it's not even mostly used. Many developers, many web developers remove the list style from it whenever they are creating content or creating websites. They remove the list tag from it. So it depends on the kind of website that you're creating and if you need this unordered list. All right, let's move on to our next lesson. Hope you are enjoying this course. If you're enjoying it, don't forget to like and subscribe to help QWESICODES grow so we continue making these free courses for you and increase your knowledge in technology. Stay motivated and let's move forward. The road is long, but we are going to make it. Hyperlinks. I know you've heard of hyperlinks, that hyperlinks can jump a user from one web page to another web page. And in this lesson in the HTML and CSS full course. With me, I'm going to teach you about hyperlinks, how to create ones. Hyperlinks are created with HTML and can be edited with the CSS and some features to it with JavaScript. But right now, we are learning how to create normal hyperlinks. I can jump users from one web page to another. All right, so let's start with the internal one, the one which is within your website. If I want to jump a user from this web page, my website, to another web page, let's say let's have a heading tag of, let's say, my website. If I save this, then I have a list tag of whom. Let me duplicate this and make this location, make this menu. Let me save this, and as you can see, this is what happens. But I cannot click on this. If I click on this, nothing happens. So how do we make it hyperlink? That's when we use the A effect, the A tag. If you press A in front of it, any A tag, if you put in any tag in HTML, it will change to hyperlinks. So this, if I type in A right here and I press enter, you can see something. This is the code actually. This is the A code actually. The A. This is the hyperlink. This makes the whole thing hyperlink. All right. Now the href is the location where the user will go if the user clicks on it, and here is the label of the hyperlink. Inside this area is the label of the hyperlink, and this area is the location where the user will go if the user clicks on the hyperlink. All right. So I want the user to go to my next page, which is the home page. So I want the user to go to home. So we need to create another HTML file. Let's say home.html. And if I save this and come to right here and I in the location is home.html, I save this right here, it's going to link with the index.html. Now inside the home there's nothing here, so let me add something here. Home. Right now I've created a new HTML file and it's home.html, and right here I said if the user clicks on the home, it should take the user to the home page, which is the home.html. Right now you can see the color changes to blue and it's underlined. That is a feature of hyperlink to help you identify as a hyperlink. Right, so if I click on this right now, it takes me to home. Right, so as you can see, it takes me to a different web page, which is the home that we created right here with the h1 tag. All right, we can also come back. We can do the same for location and menu. So let's try these two more. Let's create another HTML file, name it location.html and menu.html. And let's give them both each tag of, let's say, location. Let's give the menu each tag of menu. As we've saved all of them, let's quit them from here. And inside our main page, which is the index.html, we add a hyperlink, the h tag to it. We add the e tag to each of them, and we change the location. So here it's location.html, and let's give it a label. So it means if you click on this, it's going to take us to the location page, and here is menu. We can add menu.html, and inside here give it a label of menu. All right, so if you save this and you check in the browser, you can see our website. You have home, location, and menu. So if I click on location, it takes me to the location. I repeat, if I click on the menu, it takes me to the menu. I can come back. If I click on the menu, it takes me to home. If I click on the location, it takes me to the location. If I click on the menu, it takes me to the menu page. So now we've navigated through our website using the links right here by creating other HTML files that will link users from one page to another. And you can also link users outside the website, let's say to Facebook, to Instagram, to WhatsApp, to Twitter, to Twitch, to any other website by using the same a tag, let's say in a different. Alright, so I can say visit my YouTube channel right here. Create a paragraph tag and add the a tag right here. So inside it, let's say take me to my YouTube channel. It's https www.youtube.com/@QWESICODES. Right now, let me change the label to visit my YouTube channel. So if I save this right here and check the browser, you can see it right here. Visit my YouTube channel. If I click on this, it's going to take me. It's going to take me to YouTube. It's not going to take me to location or home because I have added a link right here to my YouTube channel. So when I click on this, it's going to take me to YouTube. The internet is not that well, so it's not going to load this video. So let me quit the action, right? So that is how it works. So if I click on this right now, it will take me to YouTube. But if I click here, it will take me to the home page I created, the location page I created. And if I click here, it will take me to the menu page I created. But if I click here, it will take me to YouTube because I added a YouTube link inside it. So the basic things you need to learn is there. Find any tag in your mind. So let's say you want to use the H tag with one. That's where you want to add a hyperlink to. Then inside it, you create a space just like it, just like that, right? And inside it, you add the A element, your A tag. That's a hyperlink. And now you add the location right here. So location, I want to take me to Facebook, YouTube, Facebook.com. Now inside here, Facebook. This is the label of the website. So if I the hyperlink, if I save it and check the browser, you can see it appears Facebook. So if I click on this right now, it will take me to Facebook. My internet is not that working well, so it's not going to open. But if you click on it, you can see at the down here, at the left down bottom of your taskbar, you can see https facebook.com. So if you click on it, it's taking to Facebook. If I click on this, it's taking me to YouTube. If I click on it, it's taking me to the menu page we created. If I click on it, it's taking me to the location page. And if I click on it, it's taking me to the home page. All right, so just know the difference between the internal and the external hyperlinks. The internal hyperlinks are in your website, which are this one. So we've created 1, 2, 3, 4 home pages right here, and external hyperlinks are other people's website, which is the ones that we did. So just put in your mind that the A element declares the hyperlink itself, and the href is the location, and inside next to href is the label of the hyperlink. All right, I believe you are doing well with this course and you understand, and you are now all in to become great website developer. All right, let's continue this amazing course. Adding images to your website. In this lesson, we're going to talk about adding images to your website. Right now, in HTML, we have some elements that we use to insert images to your website, with the height and how you show in both mobile and desktop and all the other kind of stuff, and set its width and height and its force. All right, do not be confused at the stuff I'm saying right here. So the first you need to do is to get a picture right here. So let me move through my pictures and find something. A picture. So you get a picture, any random picture. I'm going to pick this picture right here. So I've copied any picture I want and head to the folder in which you are storing your HTML files in. So I have pasted my picture inside the folder that we created at the starting of this course. So my picture is right here. So I have my picture right here. So we are going to insert this picture into our website. All right. So each one. Let's add an heading tag of image. So after this, we need to add the image. And the image is added like this. The less than sign and img is how the image is declared. We don't spell image like this, just img HTML. And we don't have anything like this. In HTML. Sorry. Alright. We don't have anything like this in HTML. We don't declare image like this. It's just like this. It ends with only one. We don't have any other kind of thing. Just like the line break. And inside here you add elements. So we add the width and the height inside this tab. So inside this tab, we're going to add a source, which is SRC, and a source means the location HTML should look for the file. So where should HTML get? Where is the file? You are telling HTML this is the file I want you to show. Right, so I want HTML to show me this file.
Right now, HTML is going to display this image on the website. So if I save this and I preview it in the browser, you can see it's so big and it's now on my website right now. We need to reset it into some width and some height. Alright, so let's change the width to 300 and the height to 250. And if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see it's very small and simple right now. Nice, very nice and very cool. So this is the image you've inserted. So that's how we insert images into our website. And mind you, you can also get external images from different sources. External images, it's like this. If you search for an image online, you can copy the image. You can copy the image link and paste it into your source, and you can get that image direct from the website without having that image on in your files right here. Right here, this is the image that we previewed. We brought into our folder. Now we've displayed the image on our website. So right here, we are going to copy this butterfly image right here. So let's click on any image that you see on the internet and say copy image address. All right, now let's erase this source. So this means we are no more using this image that we brought. We are using that image we saw. So let me paste the source image address here. And if I save it and check in the browser, you can see this image right here shows here. This image we found on Google shows here. So you can also get external images from outside sources without using your own image. So that's how images are inserted into HTML in your website using HTML. Alright. And you can also have arts, which is the description of the image. Hello, this is a butterfly. Something like that. So if I save this, the screen tip of this should be a butterfly. And there are many other kind of styles and code you should write before you can get the actual art or the description of this image. That's the meaning of the art. Okay, so let's continue this awesome course with adding videos as well. Right now, let's learn how to add videos into our website, just like we learned how to add pictures to our website. Okay, so in our HTML folder, head to like get any video, any random video that you have. All right, so I'm going to take this video. So you can take any random video on your computer, then you paste it inside the folder that we created at the start of this course, where all our HTML file is. Right now, I've inserted my video right here. Now the video tag is video, just like this. This is how the video tag is declared. Less than the video, and you have your source. So now this is how the video tag is declared. Okay, so if you have this declared, you can set the width and the height. Let's I want to set the width to 300 and the height to 250. All right. So if I save this right here, what is needed is the source. It's just like the image. The only thing that changes is that we change this tag. In the image one, you just do something like this. Like this is the difference between the adding images and the pictures. So adding images is like this. This is how we add images. And this is how we add videos. So we add images right here and we add videos using this. Okay, now let's add a source by pressing the forward slash to navigate through our files, and let me see, let me take this video. So this is the video I want to show. Right, so after I've gotten this video source, I need to do something. The video will show, but it will not play. Let's preview it in the browser and you see. Let's save this and preview it in the browser. And as you can see, the video shows, but it's not playing. There are some elements you need to add. There are some attributes, which is the controls. Controls is going to give you some stuff for you to bring the volume down, the volume up, download the video, picture in, playback speed, uh, any other kind of video element. So let's play the video.
So who's the best player in the world ever? Me.
In my mind, I'm always the best. I don't care what the people thinking, what they say. In my mind,
So as you can see, it's playing successful. You can also make it full screen.
not just this year, but always, I'm always the best. I'm always gonna say that.
So as you can see, Cristiano Ronaldo is also motivating us. So let's keep learning, right? In your mind, you're always the best, all right? Keep learning. Now, as you can see, we have the control right. But if you don't want the user to have absolute control of controlling it, you can just erase this and write okay, play. That means it will play with no controls. The moment the user gets into that page, the video will play and he cannot stop the video from playing. The user can't stop the video from playing.
So who's the best player in the world ever? Me.
In my mind, I'm always the best.
So as you can
I
see,
don't care what the people
the
thinking,
video just keeps
what
playing
they say.
without
In
the
my
user
mind, not just this
controlling
year,
it.
but always, I'm always the best.
So as you can see, the video was just playing without the user controlling anything, and the user will just be confused like what to do. So if you want to like if you don't want to allow the user to control it, if you want the user to watch the video without having any control to it, the volume and anything, you just add autoplay. But you can also autoplay the video autoplay when the user just gets onto the website, and you can also add the controls as well. So if you save
So who's the best player in the world ever?
it just starts playing when the user clicks on it. Alright, so this is how we add videos to our website. So that's the difference between the videos. So this is the tag for the adding the videos, and this is the tag for adding the images. Alright, hope you are loving this course. If you have come this far, that means you have come very far and you are getting closer to CSS, and you are knowing how we use the HTML, and how we can create our own website using the HTML. Alright, make sure not to give up now, and let's move on to the next video. Right, adding audio. So we've learned how to add videos in the website, how to add images, and now we are learning how to add audio file to our website. But it's going to be an action exercise for you so that you would know if you are doing well, what you are doing, or you're not doing well, if you understand the course or you don't understand. So I'm going to give you an action exercise right here. Okay, so this is how we declare. This is the tag for inserting the audio, and this is the source. All right, so try to think and do something. So what does this mean? The source is this is the location of the file. So come and add a file in this folder, in the HTML folder where we created at the starting of this course. So you paste that audio file in, then you press the forward slash inside the source, and then you select that audio file, and you set the width and the height of how the audio file will play. Alright, so this is a bonus. It's an exercise for you, so I'm not going to teach you how you can. I've already shown you the tips and tricks for both the image and the videos and how to do. So try to do this. So just add source here. This is not an audio file. It can be if we try to say the plugin is not supported because it is not an audio file. Okay, so insert an audio file and move on. That means if you're able to do this successfully, that means you are one step closer to becoming a great web developer. That means you understand this course. All right, let's move on. All right, now you are becoming a champion in the HTML. If you've come this far in this course, and now about to learn about tables. Right, so tables, they are the same tables that you see every day. The tables you draw in your books, the tables that you draw in your web processing applications to create lists of items. All right, so right here you're going to create a table that's going to house some names, some people's names, ages, and all right. So let's create a heading tag right here and name it data of, let's say, QWESICODES Academy. So let's save this, and inside you're going to create a table. Just type table in there, less than equal, less than or greater than signs right here. Then inside the table tags, put in TD, and TD is going to house, sorry, the TR, sorry, going to be the TR. The TR is going to house the argument for the table. So the argument is declared by TDs, and you can type in your names. So here we are going to house only the names of the QWESICODES Academy. Alright, now we're also going to house the ages right here. Then their grades. So if I save this, I need to move on to the next one and type another TR and housing new TDs, which is going to be the value for first person name. So I'm going to type here Alex, and next TD be Alex is 15 years old, and the next one his grade is, let's say. So if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see it says data of the school's academy, name, now I have Alex, age is 15 and grade B. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So each TR is going to contain one person's data. So this thing is going to be for the second person, and we have three ones here. So this is going to be for name, this is going to be for name, and this is going to be for that person's age, and this is going to be for that person's grades. So let me paste them in all. So you understand this is the same name, age, and grades. So this is going to be name, age, and grades of that person. Right, so we have a new person, let's say appear, and appear could be age is, let's say, 16. Appear could be grade is 8. So if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see it also comes in names, and appear could be is there, and its age is changes just as well. So we are listing the table step by step. So if I repeat this several times, let me copy this, paste this several times, we're going to draw a very big table. But I think it's alright. So let's be written about it. You can see we have a big table right here, and you can change in the value of whatever you want. So these are the arguments, the names and the ages and the grades. And you might be wondering, how do we add border to it? So right here, this table just with a star off. You might not understand CSS, so don't worry. Border of pixels, solid, let's see, black. So let's save this, preview it in the browser. You can see it has borders around it. Right now, it's left with a border for the whole TR thing. So I can give it a star of let's say just like that. But you're going to learn more about this in the CSS, so don't worry. Unless you stick with the HTML and you complete the HTML, you're going to understand many things about it and about the border stuffs. Alright, so this is how the tables are created. Do not be confused about the styles stuff, because that was the CSS part. We are not yet use the CSS. So after you are done with the HTML, then we move on to the CSS. Make sure to keep practicing. And if you are loving this course and understanding, don't forget to subscribe and help QWESICODES grow and make more awesome courses for you guys. Let's move on to the next video. Alright, now so you understand the tables and you are moving on to buttons. You've realized that every website has a button. Without a button, the user cannot navigate to the website and click on other stuff. HTML is not like document type or typing documents. It's a web software, so you need to have buttons. Alright, so how do we create buttons? It's simple. Just type buttons, just like this, button, and you can see the button tags open. Or if no alternative, so let me show you the step by step now. Simple, just like this. Alright, so this is how we create a button. Now you put the value of the button. So let's say sign up. So let's save it and preview it in our browser. As you can see, it says sign up. Right here, we have a button that says sign up. A very big button that says sign up. Alright, so here contains the value, and this declares it as a button. Now you can make buttons links. by adding the href, the a tag inside the buttons like this, and you input the location as I showed you in the hyperlinks. You can go back and revisit that area where I showed you about hyperlinks, and you can record it and understand what you are doing here. So you input the value, let's say Facebook, and right here you set Facebook's URL. And I save this and check in the browser, you can see it comes and say Facebook. Sorry, I see if I made a blunder here. The Facebook spell. All right, now we are done. So you might be thinking, how do we remove this blue thing under it? Well, this is done with CSS, so make sure to stick with this course till the end so you can start to build those awesome stuffs. This is not the awesome part yet. When we reach the CSS, you can see the awesome part of the CSS. All right, so let me write up CSS here to remove that kind of thing. This is text decoration. Now, so let me preview it in the browser and see if it will gonna work. If it doesn't work, that means we need to get into the actual CSS, and I don't have to dive you deep into the CSS right now. So this is how we create buttons. Buttons from it. You can create buttons. Let's see, click me any kind of button, and it clicks. So that's how buttons are created in CSS. It's the most simplest thing. Sorry, in HTML. The most simplest thing you can ever do in HTML. All right, let me. In this lesson, we are going to learn about forms in HTML. How you can create forms for you to interact with the user in some ways after adding some programming languages and taking data from the user and storing it. That will be useful in the backend. So right here, we're going to learn how to create forms. Now the forms comes in some types. We have the label and the input. The label and the input. We have the label and input. The label shows what the user should enter inside the input field, and the input field is the box in which the user type in the data. Alright, then we have many types. Let's say numbers, users can type in numbers, date of birth, calendars, reduce, uploading files, and doing many kind of things. Alright, so let me show you some practical examples here. Let's start with a normal input. Now I can say label, name, for text. And inside the label, say text. Another label, let's create an input. And give it a type of text. So if I save this and check in the browser, you can see it comes text. So they are typing text right here. What kind of text? Understand? So you can put some it's kind of sign right there and check if it works properly. Now you can see I can input some stuff. So let's see if I type in QWESICODES right here. Now, so it's not only text-based form that you can create. You can also create some password for some for password. Let's say label. Let's create label for password. It's not compulsory to add labels. I'm going to show you something much more fun for using this kind of thing. Now in the input field, you can say type email. Sorry, I wrote password, email. So if I save this and check in a browser, it comes as email. As you can see, now I need to type in email. If I don't type in that's email, it will not work. But there are many ways that you can verify the user, but the HTML will create a raw thing. Right, let me show you another kind of stuff, another kind of type. For the password, so let's create a label for the password and input type text. Let's do something like this. Now if I save this, you can see when I type the password, users can see the letters. So how do we let it turn into dots? Something like that. Well, we need to change the type to password before you can hide it from some people who try to steal information from users. So when I type in, it changes to dots. I understand. If I type in right now, it changes to dots. Now you can check on, you can see right here on my URL, Google Chrome brings up to save your password. Understand? Save your password from this website. Okay, so now I've shown you how to create a password input. There are many types of input. You can also have a different input and say radio. If we preview it in a browser, you can see this comes. If I tap on it, that's all. An example of a radio is something like this. Let's say your favorite car. Let's create an H1.
a heading tag and say choose your favorite car. So right here, if I say choose your favorite car, then I can add an input of radio. I can say, I can add a paragraph tag and say Tesla. Then I place this 3 times and change the name inside them. So I can make this Toyota, and I can make this Bentley. Now if I save this and check in the browser, you can see this choose your favorite car. So I can choose whatever. I can choose this. I can choose this. I can choose this. But you can see it is like in a block form. So change the p tag to label instead. So to quickly do this exercise, after this, I'm going to show you a real world example for the forms we use. Like, all right, so if you check on the browser, you can see it's now 100% correctly arranged. So if I choose, let's say I choose Bentley, now you see you can be used for, let's say, creating online exam or something. So choose your favorite car. My favorite car right here, Tesla, Toyota, and Bentley. I'm going to choose Tesla because Tesla is very nice. Elon Musk. All right, so that's some stuff you can know about the forms. So there are many types of the forms out there. There are the forms for inputting numbers. So type, I can say date. If I save this, you see the user is going to be asked to add the date. So you can use it in forms for date of birth and many other kind of stuffs. All right. They also have some inputs for uploading a file. So you can see file. So if we preview it in a browser, you can see say choose a file. So if I click on it, it opens my computer to, let's say I open this file. I open this JavaScript mastery, let's say a video. I open this video file, this video. So if I open it, you can see the file name comes here, ancient Roman philosophers life lessons. Alright, so you can see this. So if you choose a file, it's going to show you about. You might think that why don't it display? Well, it's HTML. There's a markup language. It's not a programming language. So after you learn more, you'll be able to understand how you can do this and how you can save your file to your database. But right now, we're on the front end learning HTML, so we need to have the basics. There are other kind of input types like type can change it to number, where you restrict the user to select only a number. Is that kind of type in return? So right here, you see it changes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. So right here, you restrict the user to choose a number alone. So you can also have an input type of checkbox where the user can, let's say, accept something. So you can see if I click on this, it checks itself. Let me zoom in well for you to see if you are really getting this. Make sure to pause and practice if you don't understand something. All right. So as you can see, it changes itself as I click on it. There are many types of input out there that you can check from your. So we have radio, we have the range, we have the reset, we have many things. All right. So the reset is going to reset whatever you have created, but no, it's not going to work 100% in HTML. You need to add some kind of stuff. So now you have not reached that stage, so you need to be restricted to do this normal thing right here and understand how the input, the form works. So let me give you a practical example, a real world example of form. So let's create a heading tag and name it form. And after the heading tag, let's create tag called form. An action right here is going to help you. Let's say where you want it to get. Let's say you can now post something an action. We're going to send a form to the database. But right now, we are on the front end, and as I said, you haven't yet reached that part. So we are going to create a normal form in HTML front end form. Alright, so inside this form, we're going to have a label of, let's say, full name. Then we're going to have an input of text. So let's copy this and paste it for 2 times. So I think there was a problem. Let's retype this label. Sorry, as if I instead of done that here. So let's start with a label. right? Inside label full name. Now let's create an input, just like that text, and you copy this and you paste it 3 times so you can make some changes. Right, you can change this to email and a type to email and change this to password and a type as well to password. Now create another label and input, copy this and paste it, add date of birth, and let's input your date. Now copy this and paste it up and say upload your file, upload your, let's say, driver's license. So if I save this type, let's change the type from date to file. Now let's copy this and paste this somewhere else and change this to I can do accept our terms and conditions. Our terms and conditions. And right here, checkbox. Type to text box. And let's our final input of submit. The submit is the form. Submit is the button. You can use submit or button, any kind of thing. Yeah, it's going to be something. As you can see, this is submit and this is submit. Because if I preview it in a browser right now, these things are going to be the same. Alright. So as you can see, we have submit and submit right here. They are all buttons. We are all creating buttons for them. So right here, I'm using the submit. Alright, now let me zoom in back for you to see what we've created. Alright, now so the user comes to the website, the user input the name. So my name is Alex. Now the email, set full name. So let me input my full name. Now let me input my email, schools@gmail.com. Now let me input my password. Now let me set my date of birth, my month. Let's say I was born in October, and the month, the date, 21st, and the year. I think 2007. So I'm filling my form. So try and fill the form as well and see if it works well, right? So right here, and I choose my driver's license. I don't have any driver's license, but we are just creating something. All right, so we open our driver's license and we accept our terms and conditions. Then we submit the form. You understand? That's how we do it. So I hope you understand what this whole thing really means. The form, the input, and the label. All right. So try and practice more about this and research more about the forms, working with forms in HTML. So I've shown you more about how the forms works and how to work with them and create input and many types of the form. Right now, let's move on to our last topic in HTML, which is an additional bonus. And we move on to the CSS. If you've come far to reach this end of the HTML course and moving on to the CSS, let me show you some additional stuff you need to do in the HTML. Some stuff I'm going to teach you about it. Selecting an options, selecting some stuffs with HTML. So selecting an option goes like this. Let's say you want the user to select something. I'm going to wrap it out simple for you to understand it easily. So let's see, select your country right here. You can get some list of the countries, but just select something like this. Inside the select, add options. An option is going to be, let's say, United States. Then we add here Russia, China, and France. So if I save this, check the browser, you can see we have something like this. We select for it. So I think you've seen something like this from the website. I should have shown you this during the form type. So right here, you select it comes, you select it comes, and you select it. But because it wasn't part of the form, unless you create it yourself, so you select the kind of you want to. You can add most list as you want. All right. Now, this is how we create a list. You start with a select, and inside the select, that's the parent element, and the child element are the options. So the select starts from insert here. All right. Now let me show you something small in the HTML. We have something called divisions. The divisions helps you divide your website into some parts so that you can style it well. So we have something called div, which means division. So right here I can say my content. So I can say dot content, just like this. It's going to say division, and this means that the class of this is content, and everything on this is going to be another content. Let's say dot wrapper, a page. Then you can say dot footer. Nothing is going to show in a website though, but you are dividing your website into some parts that you can, style it well with the CSS and add some behaviors to it with the JavaScript. So you need to know how to use it div right. So this is going to help you divide your website and know what kind of thing you are creating. So you can start with the nav bar, navigation bar. So this every code and this is a navigation bar. So you have named it for that part. You cannot just get started and write code. Just write. You cannot just do that. You need to divide it into parts for everybody to understand, right? Or anybody reading it to understand by using the divs and the sections as well. Section. So let's say this is going to be section 2, and I can give it a class of something. I'm going to show you more about the class and the IDs. But right now, I want to show you these elements with the sections and those classes. So right now, you've come too far and you've learned many things about it. You have learned almost everything in the HTML. You have learned everything. Let me teach you one more thing before we move on. It's the legend and the field sets. This kind of thing helps you to create a space for what you're going to do. So you just write something like field sets, instead of say legend, and let's say about me, something like this. It's going to create a border inside the website for you, so you can input anything on this. So as you can see, it shows about me and a border. So whatever we input in, so let's say we input we add a paragraph tag and we say lorem. So type LOREM and press enter. So after you press enter, you preview it in the browser. You can see it right on name it. It put it in a border for you. Alright. So these are the bonus stations I'm giving you in HTML. And we also have something called a text area. The text area lets a user write a huge amount of text in your website. So let's say you just type text area and it comes. So something like this. So if you save it and you preview it in the browser, you can see I have a text area. I can type anything right there. And you can set it to the kind of amount of max length or min length, what you want the user to type. And mind you, the input that I showed you in the previous chapter, you can also set it to the max length, like the amount of words the user can type in that area. So if I say it's 3, the max length of the input here is 3. I cannot type more than 3. So if I type, it will end. I cannot type again. Right. So you can also restrict the user to type the amount of, and you can also add the label inside the input. For example, placeholder, I can say name. And if I preview it in a browser, you can see name is written in the input without adding the input outside there. Without adding the input outside, without adding the label outside it, by just putting it. You can do the same thing for the text area by saying placeholder. Let's say about you. So right here, if I check the browser, you can see about you is already written in, but if I don't type it, it gets away. So this tells the user to type in about you right here, and it tells the user to type in it. Alright. So these are some additional things I can teach you in there. HTML that might really guide you where you might find it important along the way. And I can also I forgot to also teach you one thing. Adding icons. Yeah, your website's icon. Any website needs an icon. Just like this. We have no icon right here. But I'm going to show you everything about that in the CSS at the end. So do not worry about that. But it is in the HTML right here. Okay, so these are the additional things I can teach you in HTML. Thank you for watching this whole part of the course, finishing the whole HTML. And now understanding what the HTML really looks like and knowing the key concept of the HTML, now you can move on to the CSS. As you've mastered the HTML and all the elements and everything you need to know about the HTML, make sure to stay motivated and move forward. And remember that practice makes perfect. And also remember that man conquers himself, that man conquers the world. So make sure learn this successfully. I'm going to see you in CSS. Let's get ahead with the course. You can rest for a while. Let's move on. Fasten your seatbelt. You are going to the perfect part of this course. Now you are ready to learn CSS after learning the HTML successfully and practicing understanding all the key concepts in the HTML. Now you're about to get started with the CSS, which means the cascading style sheet. The CSS helps you to form your website, add designs, add colors, make your website much more beautiful than the normal HTML. The normal HTML just allows you to create the element and add them. There's a structure, but the CSS, which is a cascading style sheet, add some formatting tools, gives you the advantage to edit it, gives you the advantage to make your website beautiful and make it more responsive on all devices on the planet that can access your website. Okay, so stay tuned, fasten your seatbelt, and let's get started with the CSS. As I said, it's the sweetest chapter. We are just about to get started, all right? So let's get started with the CSS. Let's set up CSS. So how do we set up the CSS? We need to learn how to create the CSS file first. Okay, now right here, create a new file and name it style.css. Now if you press enter, now you've created your own CSS file for the first time. So as you can see, the HTML ends with .html. It shows that the program is an HTML program, and this shows that this program is a CSS program. All right, so every code you write here is associated with the CSS, and every code you write is associated with the HTML. Now we need to connect them together. We need to connect the HTML and the CSS together. So how do we do that? So that is what you're going to find out in this course and know how to connect the HTML and the CSS and start working with it. Now, as we have this here, we have an element in an HTML called link. So under your head, write link and look for link CSS. As you can see, link is to CSS. Link is to cascading style sheet. So if you press enter, you can see it creates a code for you which says link, and inside it rel style sheet, which means that the thing we are connecting to is a style sheet, and the href is the location, which is the styles.css, which is right here. Let me delete the files around here for you to see what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so now we've connected the HTML with the CSS. By doing this, not always that you have to use style. You can use any other name, but because we use style.css, that's the name you should use here, because that is the name that we are connecting the HTML and the CSS with right now. So you have set up your CSS successfully. You've connected with the HTML. Now let's learn about selectors in CSS. Selectors in the CSS is how you can get an element from HTML and edit it in the CSS. Let me show you an example right here, how to get an element firstly by its raw tag name. All right, so let's create a heading tag right here and give it a name of, let's say, CSS. So if I save this, if you leave in a browser, I'm going to get CSS as I've taught you already in the CSS parts. All right, so how do we get this and edit it in the CSS? Right here in the CSS, you need to input now specific elements that you want to edit. So if I type h1 right here and rank so this is how we write the CSS. So inside, if we write the styles that we want to give you today, h1. All right, so that's how we get an element by a tag name in the CSS. So that's the first select. And the second selector I can teach you is you can also have any. I can say p tag CSS. If I want to get this right here, I'll just type p, something like this. Now this means we are adding CSS to the paragraph text alone. Alright, so that's how to add elements to the get element by the tag name. Now let's go on how we get the element by its class name. For example, we also have an h1 of, let's say, HTML. But if we save this and we edit the CSS, we edit the h1, we give it, let's say, a color of red, all of this is going to be, all of the HTML is going to be red. But what if I want to give this one a different color and this one a different color? Now, well, we need to give it a class. We need to give it a class so that you will show CSS that this specific element is what you want to edit. Right, so you can give this a class by inside its less than and greater than size right here, then type class, and the class one here say HTML. If I save this and come to the CSS, the way I can get that element is by dots, is to, the dot shows that you are selecting something by its class name. So then you add the name of HTML, then open your curly braces. So right here you are adding styles to this one alone. You're adding styles to this one alone, not this. So you have told CSS that you want to get an element with a class name of HTML. So right here you can see on the screen it say do not use empty row sets. So the element is class, which is HTML. So it means that element has a class of HTML. Alright. And if we come right here to the P tag, you can see the element is P, paragraph tag, no more, like it has no class. So it means that all the P tags on the page is going to be fully the same specific thing. But if you want to give each of them specific tag, you need to give them a class name. So let's move on how to select something using an ID. So to get an ID, we can also have a heading tag of one and give it as, let's say, HTML as well. And let's say we have two HTMLs on here, but we want to give this a different color as well. We can give it an ID of, let's say, new HTML. And inside the CSS right here, the way you can get that then is by its ID. So to get element by ID, if you've learned JavaScript, you've heard something like this. Get element by, if you have learned JavaScript, you've heard something like this. Documents dot get element by ID. Then you input your ID right here. Right? If you've learned JavaScript before, but in CSS, you don't have to write something. You need to bring just hash. Then you type the file name. So hash means it's an ID. You are selecting some ID of something. So after the hash, then you bring the name. So new HTML. So if I make something like this, it means I'm editing this sort of thing alone. I'm editing that ID of this HTML alone. If I go here to see the specifications of us about it, you can see it means that element you are selecting has an ID of new HTML. So CSS will dive into HTML and look for the one with the ID of new HTML and add styles to it. I'm teaching you this for you to understand the key concepts when you are selecting some stuff on your HTML page and edit it to the CSS. Alright, now let me show you one more way you can select something as well. We also have something that we call visions, as I showed you earlier. You can edit something, you can get the whole of a section, something like this. Let's say div, and give you a class of, let's say, content. And inside the content, you can also have something different. You can also have a heading tag of, let's say, hello. And you can give this a class of, let's say, this is the logo of your page, logo. And under this, you can also bring, let's say, you can also create another list and give it a list or add links to it. You can also say this is home, something like this. And you can change this to, let's say, location, and change this to, let's say, friends, and change this to about us. Alright, so right here, if you want to get the whole thing, if you want to get the whole elements right here and edit it, you can just dot content. Right here, it means you are getting an element with a class name of content. Now this means everything under this division, everything here is being edited once I bring this content right here. Okay, now if you want to select this logo alone, you can also just type in dot logo.
And right here, you're going to edit the logo alone because you have added a class name as logo and can edit it. You can edit it yourself, right? So the type of style you can add to the main content right here is, let's say, you can push all of the items to the center, the left to the right, or any kind of thing. So this is how it looks like if you put it in a browser. This is how it looks like. I was just teaching you the selectors. CSS for you to know how to select some stuff. Select some element on your CSS HTML page and bring it to the CSS page. Okay. So I've taught you a lot, but let me see one more thing. You have something called like this. This thing right here, the star. It means you are adding style to everything in the HTML. So the star means it's about everything in the HTML. So what you input here, it goes to go on your web page. And you also have body, which is a default body. You see the color changes to something red. Body means you are adding to the body, and this means everything in the HTML. So whenever you're starting to start with something like this, the reason why I'm not adding any styles to it is because I want to show you how you write the HTML code and how we write the CSS code and how we select the element from the HTML into the CSS. All right. No, right now, I believe that you have understood what the selectors means. The selectors means like selecting element from the HTML page and connecting it with CSS and styling it inside the CSS right here. And I have taught you how to select the element by class names by adding a class in between here, and you can also select the element by the ID and edit it and make your web's development skills much more smooth and create amazing website with it. Right. So right now you need to understand this key concept because you're going to use it. You're going to use it almost every day in all the web development project. You need to learn how to use a get element by class name and the ID as I've taught you right now. Now let's move on to something much more fun. Now we are going to add styles to it. We're going to learn about the styles. Let's continue this course. Okay, now let me introduce you to the rem, to the m, and to the pixels. All right. The rem and the m and the pixels helps you to enlarge, to add sizes. It's about the sizes of some stuffs in the website. All right. Let's have a heading tag right here of, let's say, hello world. Let's say we have already connected with the CSS. Right. Let's give this a class of like heading tag, something like this. And now let's get it right here with how we learned about the class getting element by class name. So I need to note it into heading. Something like this. So now we have connected with this. Now let me show you the rem and the m. The rem and the m is it add sizes, like the sizes of some stuffs in your or elements of your HTML in the CSS. How big it is. Let's say it should be 25 pixels. How the length, the width, and the height. Let's preview this in a browser. And left click on an empty space on your website and click on inspect right here. So when you click on it, you can see something appears, which is the console. And at the down of the console, scroll down, you see something, margin. You can see margin, you can see padding, and you can see border, and you can see those kind of stuff here, right here. All right, so this is the main thing. This is the padding, and this is the border, and this is the margin. All right, so right here, I need to show you about the margin and the padding and those kind of stuff before you understand the use of the rem. Take note that the rem and m are declared like this. Let's say we have something, it's rem, you have, let's say, 10 rem, 20 rem, the pixel, let's say 20 pixels, and the m, let's say 2m. Now these are, it's not the only things that you know, that's how it is declared. So this is how the rem is declared, and this is how the pixels is declared, and this is how the m is declared. So you can, if you are not new to computing, you have already heard of the pixels already. Pixels and rem and m, the sizes and the length and those kind of stuff, how big it is, how it can go from one place to another, those kind of stuff. All right. So right here, do not be confused because I wanted to teach you something and introduce you to what those kind of elements looks like. So when you start using them, you will not be confused. Now let's move on to the margin.
What you didn't delete your code. Now let's talk about the margins, as I said in the previous chapter about teaching you the key concepts you need to know about those kind of stuff. So now we have learned about the rem and the m and the pixel. So let's talk about the margin. So the margin, take something. The margin on the web page, right here, the margin is right here. So the margin can take this whole thing to this area, can take this whole thing to somewhere else. Let me show you. So right here, we already have this tag, heading tag right here. So we have gotten the element by class name. I can give it a margin inside those open and close parentheses, curly braces, so right, margin. And you can see if you write margin like this, this is how it's declared margin. Then you bring your list, something like this. So right here, margin, you type in the number and you add the quantity to it, the rem, the m, or the pixels. So right here, you're adding 20 pixels to it. I've taught you about the pixels and the rem and m already, so you need to go back and revisit if you don't understand. So right here, if I save this and check in the browser, you can see it's no more at that default location. It has moved forward a little bit. As you can see, it's no more at that default location. If I add more to it, let's say 120 pixels. If I check in the browser, you can see where it is. It's no more at that place anymore. It has performed a motion. I'm not learning physics right here, but it has moved from this place to this place right now. Here we have hello or no more here. It's now here. Okay. Let's try the rem. You can say 2 rem. The 2 rem is higher. You cannot set the rem to 120 rem. The 2 rem is much more higher than the pixels. So if you say 2 pixels, 2 rem will be equal to about 200 pixels. So if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see it also goes a little bit far. If I change this to also, let's say 20 rem, and I save this, you see, yeah, it has come down a lot. The rem has high quantity. That's why I prefer you to use rem when you are working in the margins and the patterns. All right. So this is how we declare the margins in the HTML when the use of the margins. And we have many things on the margins. You also have margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right. We want to take the elements from the left to the right, from the right to the left. Let's say we give to the margin right of, let's say, 10 rand. If I save this and preview it another, you can see it's already on the right, left already. So we need to change this to the left. So it's already on the right. So if I save this and preview it another, you can see it's going to the left side. But if I change this to margin top, it goes down because we are creating a margin on top of the page. So it goes down. I can also give this margin as auto. And the auto means you are sending it to the center of the page. So if I give the margin of auto and preview it to the browser, you can sort. Let me save it and preview it to the browser if it doesn't work. Alright. This might not work because it is not, whole element. But you can also send it to the center like this, but I'm going to teach you how you can center the content, right? But right now, you need to understand about the margin top, the bottom, margin left, margin right. But you need to go here about everything out about the margin. After two, there are many weird things that you can try, but the main key thing to know is a margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right. Alright, and how to use the pixels to the rem and the m. Okay, so right here, let's try it with a different element in the HTML. Let's also create an HTML. Let's say a text area or a button. Let's create a button and name it margin. And let's give it a class of btn. And let me see that. Come to the CSS and select that and btn and give it a margin of, let's say, 10 rand. So if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see where the button is. The button is also somewhere here because I've changed the place where I've changed the margin of it. But if I set the margin to 0, it comes to its place that I was at first. But if I change the margin to something else, or it's one left or right or something, and change it to position. Alright, the reason why the margin auto is not working is because it's not a whole thing. It's only one piece. So when we move on, the margin auto works for borders and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to teach you many things you need to know about those kind of things. Alright, so this is everything you need to know about the margin in HTML. Let's move on and learn about the padding. Now let's talk about the padding. The padding is much more like also like the margin, but the padding also enlarges the kind of element that it is. For example, let's start with the button. Let's create a button or element right here, and let's give it a class of btn as well. And let's save it. Let's give it a name of padding. All right, now as you can see right here, we have a button right here, but how small it is? We want a very big button. Okay, so let's select the button right here. Let's give it a margin of, let's say, 3 rem, and let's give it a padding. So this is the meaning of the padding. Let's give it a padding of, let's say, 2 rem. So the 2 rem here will be for the height of it. So if I preview it, you can see how bigger the button becomes. Now you want to extend the width. So we come right here and do the width of 2 rem. So if I save this, you can see the button also enlarges a little bit. That same applies to the margin. You can also do the margin down right here, something. The width and the height of the margin. But it's advisable just to use something like this and ignore. Alright, so I can also extend this, let's say, to make this 0.9 rem and make this 2 rem. So if I save this, you see the bottom slide flat and very, like, the width is very high. Alright, so this is for the heights. The first place here is for the height, and the second place is for the width. So let me give you a practical example. Let's give this 0.7 rem as the height and 4 rem as the width. If I save this right here, you can see how the button looks like right now. The button has changed in size, and we are editing, we are adding different kind of stuff to this, and we are making it much more awesome to use. Alright, now let's start with different elements in this page. Let's create an input field of text. Now let's give it a placeholder of type your name. Let's save it, and right here, let's give this a class of input field. And let's select the CSS input field. Now inside here, we can give it a margin of, let's say, 200 pixels and a padding of, let's say, a padding with a height of 1 rem and with a width of 3 rem. And if I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see how it looks like. This is the field. This is the input. How it has changed in shape. How it has changed in shape automatically. See how it looks like. Isn't it amazing? Very awesome. See how it looks like right now. Change in shape and size. Let me delete the styles for the button. Left with this. Alright. So very understandable. So this is how it looks like. So you see, we have changed the input field. This is the normal input. Let's create another input right here. Just like this. And give it a placeholder of type your name as well. So if I save this and check in the browser, you can see this one is different from this because you have styled it, you are giving this a pattern. Now it has become a very big thing. Alright, there's no more like this one. I would say this one is the normal HTML, but with the help of the CSS, you can make it big and enlarge to enhance the user experience. Now you can add the patterns to many other kind of stuff, so not just with this kind of stuff, but all other kind of elements that needs enlargement, you can add a pattern to it. So let's try one more. Let's try on this element. Any element that comes to your mind, you can try right here using this. Okay, so there is everything into our patterns. Okay, now let's move on to something much more amazing in the CSS. Now let's talk about centering content. Centering content, you already talk about that in HTML by saying you can do something like this, and any element that we add here is going to align to the center itself automatically right here. But you can also do that to the CSS as well. It's very simple. Let me show you how we do it. Okay, let's create without having this center stuffs in your diffs. Just write your heading tags like this and any other kind of tag and give the class name any you want. So here I'm going to give my class name heading tag like this. And inside the heading tag, I'm going to say QWESICODES. So if I save this right here and my CSS, I get the class. So right here, the way I can send it to the center without having that center box around it is giving it an element called text align.
text alignment, justify content. That will help you with those content. Take that thing from that place to the center. So I can say text align in center. If I see this, you can see QWESICODES goes to the center without me having any center around this H1 right here. But you can choose to use the one in CSS as well. We also have something called justify content. You can also justify the content to the center right here. You can justify the content to the center, and as you can see the still went to the center as well. Okay. But the justify content works for a very big content, not just one element in HTML. But mine, you cannot just only take it to the center, you can take it to the end of the page. So if I save this, you can see the postcode goes to the end of the page. You can also send it to the like left of the page. When it comes to the left, you can align it to anywhere, but here we are focusing on aligning the items to the center. So alright, so now let's give you a practical example of something like here. Let's create a division. The division, the shortcut, you can just add a class name and it will automatically create a division for you. So let's say context. So if we type this and press enter, you create a division for you. And inside this, let's give a heading tag of let's say equals close. And then let's give a paragraph subscribe to QWESICODES and learn web developments for free. Now if I save this and check in the browser, you can see it's somewhere itself. It's not in the center, but we want to take this whole thing to the center. So right here, we select, we get the element of it right here. This is class, the class of the content. So the class of the class of this division is content. So now we are going to the class of the content of the CSS. Now let's start with the text align of center. So if I save this and check in the browser, you can see the wall moves to the center, right? So now you can align any sort of content in here, HTML, and take the CSS and a specific class and a specific ID, or getting the element by the author. So that's how you can center stuffs in the CSS. Now let's move on to something much more amazing in the CSS. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and help us grow and create much more awesome courses for you to learn and improve your skills on right. Done with the advertisement of my channel. Let's get started. Let's continue this course. All right. I hope you are enjoying it. You can also like this video if you are enjoying it as well. Right? Make sure to comment about your thoughts. Right. Now let's move on. Like this video if you have come this far in the course, and in this lesson you're going to learn about colors, and this is a very interesting area right here. And the colors will help you add colors to your website, and it's very simple right here. So just like I've taught you always, let's say create heading tag and name it, let's say hello QWESICODES. Let's give it a class name of greetings. And inside our CSS, let's get a greetings by its class name. And inside, let's give it a text align of center to take the element to the center. Now let's give it a margin of 2 rem. Let's give it a padding of 20 pixels. And now right here, we can give it a color. You can see there are a lot of colors right here. Any color that you want, you can select. So let's give it a color of dark green. So if I save this and we check in your browser, you can see you have added a new color to the element itself. Hope you can see it as well. All right, now let's try it on a different element. You can give a color to everything. Let's say a button. You say hello inside a button. Now let's get a button element right here by the tag name. So the button, you can also give it a pattern of 1 rem and 3 rem, 1 rem for the height and 3 rem for the width, and you can give it a color of blue or a color of yellow. So if I save this and check the browser, you can see the color of it content changes to yellow. Let me change it to something that you easily identify. So let's see crimson. If I save this, you can see the color of bottom, which is hello, changes to red, and this also changes to green. There are many colors out there that you can use. You can also use a color gradient for each of them. You can also select this kind of thing. right here you can change it and use any color that you want. Actually, any color you can add it to any element in HTML page. Let me give you a practical example right here. So right here, let's create a div of content. Let me add the S to the content, and inside here we can give it, let's see, a heading tag of, let's say, about with schools. So under this heading tag, let's give the paragraph tag of Laura. So I type and save this, and right here you can write another Laura. Press enter. Then another paragraph tag of write another Laura. Press enter. Right here, I'm going to show you how to select some stuff here. So inside the CSS, let's get the content. Let's equal the content to the center. After that, let's get this h1 in the content. So right here, you can see dot content h1. So this means you are selecting the h1 under, you are selecting the heading 1 under the content only, not after the content. So if it's not going to select this, it's not going to select this about schools right here, about this, about the schools. So as you can see, it's not going to select this thing because this is not under this div. This is where the div ends. So you're going to select the content, the heading tag under the content itself. Alright. So right here we have this. I say content h1. That means the h1 under the content. So you can see the element class content and the h1 under it. Right. And the h1, let's give it a text. Let's, if not taught you those elements, I'm not going to use it. Let's give it a color of let's say blue. So let's give it a color of blue. Then it's good. Now let's move on to select the paragraph text. So the content paragraph. So we are selecting only the paragraph text under the content, all of them. So we can give it, let's see, color of, let's see, black. No, it's already black. So let me give it a color of brown. So if I save this, then let me also give this pattern of the content some pattern of 20 pixels. Now let me save this and preview it in the browser. As you can see, we have created a website having a list of some stuffs right here. So we have top about VSCODES, and right here everything is under crimson is brown, and top we have a heading tag with a different color as well. So that's how colors works in the CSS, and you can use the color, you can add the color to any element in the CSS. Now if you are made it through this course, that means you have become a master in it. So don't forget that practice makes perfect. Okay. Now let's move on to something much more fun. That would be a combination. If you understand the colors, you're going to create some stuff with it. Okay, let's move on. So if you have made this to this area in this course, you're going to learn about typography. The typography, you can set font styles to something. Fonts, you can set to bold and align. You can do many things with it when it comes to typography. All right, so right here, let's create a heading tag of, let's say, QWESICODES, and let's give it a class name of head. And under the head, you can also give a paragraph text of whatever this, and another paragraph of whatever. So let me save this, and inside the style sheet, let's select the head. Now right here we can have many things for it. Right now let's give it a color of, let's see, red, crimson. Okay, red we do. Now the typography, we have many arguments for it. We have font size. We have a font size of 2. If I preview it in the browser, you can see it's a little bigger. Let me make it 5 rem. If I preview it in the browser, you can see it's now a little bigger. All right, now let's learn more about one. So you can also have font family, any kind of font. You can also give us a Segu script. If I save this and check in the browser, you can see you have added Segu scripts to their text. You can also give it a font style. Let's say italic, normal, oblique, inherit. Let's say oblique. If I save this, now it will be in an oblique form. Okay, let's add more to it. We also have font variants. Font weight. Let's use the font weight. The font weight is like how bold it should be. So let's say we should make it 900. The weight should be 900. Now become a little bolder, right? So we can change the font family as well. Let's say something cool like Kali. And if I check here, you can see it appears well. Now we are styling it 100%. You are making it much more beautiful step by step. Now we can give it a font variant of, let's say, normal, small caps. Let's try the normal. The normal is going to make it normal just like that. But if you see the small caps, it's going to make it all capital letters. But it will be like as if it's small. So you can see they are all capital letters right here. So these are the small caps. So you make it a capital letter. So the small caps helps you do it in a capital letter form. Okay. So these are the kind of argument you can give it. You can have in the typography. Alright, now let's do a real world example right here. So as I said, we have this head tag, we have the paragraph tag. Now let's select the head again, give the text a line of send, and give the font size of, let's say, 3 red, and give the color of, let's say, red, color of yellow, and let's give it text shadow. Okay, we are not yet there, so I'll throw more light on that later. Now I think this will be good. Let's head to the paragraph tag. We didn't give any class for it, so we just write it there. So paragraph tag, so I'm going to give it a margin of 0, padding of 20 pixels. Then I'm going to give it a font family of let's say monoscope, something like this. So I'm going to also give it a color of, let's say, crimson. So if I save this and I check in the browser, you can see this color changes and this also changes and the font also changes as well. We can also have something like this. And let's try another example. So delete everything right here, delete everything right here. Now let's create something called content. The div of content, the content right here, let's give it, let's say, a heading tag of hello. Let's give it a button of click me, and the bottom, let's have a paragraph tag of yeah, the green part. Alright, move all of this. Let's say this area is about HTML. So let's do a class of HTML and say, so this area is about HTML alone. So let's yes, HTML. And I will give it a lorem. Another paragraph tag and give it a lorem. Alright, now let's create another div and say this for the CSS. This for CSS. This everything on this is under CSS. Alright. I'm dividing the content into pages for you. To paragraph tag CSS and another this and give also some lorem. Sorry for the brackets. Lorem. Paragraph tag of lorem. Now let me save this. And now you can see in the HTML we have this. Now let's change the styles right here. The style doesn't work for me, so let's change the styles. So inside the HTML, we are going to take everything to the center. We are going to give them a font family of Kali, right? And under the CSS, we are going to text align to the right and give them a font family of VSCODE. So if we save this and check right here, you can see it changes. We are giving this a different font family and we are giving this a different one, and you have aligned this to the left and you have aligned this to the center, right? So that's some things you can know about the typography and many other kind of are some things you can use for the typography. Make sure to practice more. Trying to create something new using the typography. There are more on the way they are about to learn. So let's go ahead with this amazing course. Okay, now let's talk about the background styling. Now, adding background colors, background images, and giving them the width and the height is going to be something not a little frustrating, but you need to stay focused to understand this part very well. But I'll give you a practical example. Let's put the heading tag right here. I roll one, we'll give it a class, and let's say equals groups.
So if we're using too many basically, so because the channel that you are learning on, so make sure to subscribe for more. So let's select each one. Let's get it by the tag name right here. Let's give it a color of, let's say, white, padding of 2 rem, margin of 2 rem. Now let's give it a background. How can we give a background? We can give it a background color, background image. So now let's try the background image first with the background color for the first time. Now let's give it a background color of blue. Let's change the blue to the Facebook blue, something like this. Let's make it a Facebook blue, the old one. I think this is the Facebook blue, something. Yeah, this was the old Facebook blue. So let's make it like the Facebook blue. And let me save this. If you check in the browser, you can see we are giving it a nice background, and it has been, located at a very nice area. So you can also create a website by doing something like this on the top end. The user can click here, can click here, can click here, using the links that I taught you, hyperlinks and media kind of stuff. Let's add more styles to it. Let's say, let's give the font family of Calibri. Now let's check in the browser, and you can see it changes to Calibri, and we have a very nice background for it. Let's also learn about the background images. So let me go and look for an image right here, an image that will be very nice for the background. So let me select this image and paste it in the folder that we are learning, the folder that we created. All right, now this part is going to be, we are going to also create a part of the image. So let's create a content, a div of the class of content, class of content, and inside it, let's give it a paragraph tag of this is VSCODES websites. You can also add anything that you want. As for that one, it's not compulsory, it's optional. You can add any value you want inside it. So let's select the content, and let's align to center. Alright, you're going to give the whole thing a background, a different background. So let's give it a background image, because that's what we want to do, a background image to the whole thing. So the URL, this is how we select it. After writing the background image like this, let me restart for you to understand well. You write background and you look for background image. Inside it, you look for URL, or you just type in URL and press enter. Inside this, you bring your string or double quote or single quotes, just like this, and you bring your / and select the image inside your folder. So if I select it right now, I save this and check in the browser, you can see we have the background image for it. Sorry if it come up. I didn't add the S to the contents. So let me save this. You can see we have a background image for the but it's not showing 100%. That's when we introduce you to the width and the height. That's how I show you. So you give it a background size of cover. It's going to cover everything for you. Now we want to expand it. We want to give it a width and a height. So the width is going to enlarge for you, and the height is going to also enlarge for you. You can use it almost everywhere. So let's give it a width. The width is good, so let's give it only a height. The height is measured in VH. Let's give it a height of, let's say, 30 VH. And if you save this and you check in the browser, you can see we have this right here. And let's change the value inside it. Let's give it a color of white and save this as well. And inside it, you can see over Anna here we have the image showing nicely. Alright, so that's how you can add background images to some stuff, some background colors to other kind of things. So these are the two types of the background styling. Okay, now try and create something. That's all what we've learned right here. Try and create something. You using your knowledge in HTML and CSS right now. Try and create something. Try and build something using what we've learned. So that's how we add the background image and the background stuff to it. Now let's start a button as a bonus lesson, a bonus idea for this lesson. Let's start a button. Let's say click me. So let's get a button. Let's give it a padding of 1 rem, a width of 3 rem.
let's give it a color of white, Alice blue or something, a background of green right here. If you save this and you check in the browser, you can see the button changes in color. Let's give it a margin, text align, center, and let's give it a margin of, let's say, 2 red. As you can see in the browser, we have something like this, and the button is styled successfully and very beautiful. Yeah. Let me move the margin from there to see to the center as well. Maybe it might not go to the center because it's not under any other kind of thing, but it'll work normally just like that. Alright, so now we have styled the button for you right here. As you can see, I've styled the button for you right here. Now the reason why the button is not going to the center, let me teach you something. Because it's not under anything, not under any class. Let's say you create something and name it, let's say BTN, for a class or a div of a BTN, and under it we save it save in a div. Now let's style this as BTN dot BTN. Now let's text align to the center and give it a background of green and a color of white and a font family of monoscope just like that. Now if I save this right here, you can see the button still goes to the center because it's under something. Now let's edit the button itself, the BTN button, and let's copy the key concept right here, which is all of these. Copy it or I save it. Now paste it right here, something like this. Now if I save it and check in the browser, you can see the button is now in the center right now successfully. Now we can give it a margin, the margin for the button. So let's give it a margin of, let's say, 3 rand. Let's give it a pattern of 2 rand and 3 rand for the height. Now you can see in a browser button is now in the center successfully because it's under a specific class. So when you edit it, you can take it to the center. Do not be confused right here. It's only kind of hard thing because you have given the button a division. So the division takes it to the center right here. Right now, so we see everything under this division, under this BTN should go to the center. And the button right here, we start the button element under the BTN is for this, and this is the everything on BTN. So if you say the text align of the, if we bring the button alone and give it a text align of center, it's not going to work unless we give it a class. We added it's inside the division, unless it's going to work simply successfully and normally. All right, let's move on to something much more amazing. Now we've learned about the colors, the background images, adding background styles, the typographies, the margins, the patterns, the reps, and the M's, and you're becoming great in the work. But make sure to keep practicing and let's move ahead with this amazing course. Assalamu alaikum. Alright, now let's talk about borders. Now you have learned all the basics of the CSS. Now let's move on to a level of advanced topics in CSS, like cascading style sheet. Let's talk about borders. Now you can add borders to many things that you create so that you can put it somewhere. You can take it to this place, you can take it to this end of the place. Now let's say you want to create a website and add, let's say you want to take everything to the center with a background color of, let's say, white. So let's have an example. Let's create a DB of content, a class of content, and inside this div, let's give a paragraph tag and let's name it heavy world. So after this, we give it a lorem of this is a border. So if I save this and get to the styles, we select it with its class, which is called content. So right here, you type in border. So this is how the border is created. So border, you first give it the kind of frame, the pixel, how like you want, how deep, how you want the weight of the size of the width to be, the size of the border to be, how you want it. So let's say you want, let's say 10 pixels, 20 pixels. That means it's going to be very thick. And let's give it a color of, let's say, red, 20 solid. So we are going to make this solid as well. So you need to write this in 20 pixels solid and a color of black. So if I save this
and check in the browser, you can see we have very big border under what you have created. All right, we can change the weight and height to let's say 1 pixels, and it'll be a little thin, right? Okay, so if you're having this right here, we can set the width to let's say 400 pixels, and it's going to be 400 pixels as well. Now the border is not that big. Now you can change it. You can give it a height. Let's say 40 ph. Now you see, now we can change the content in it. So let's say the content heading tag to the center. It's not going to the center of the page, but the center of the border, because we have a border in the content. So right here, the hello world goes to the center of the border. Right now, not the center of the page, but the center in the border. And let's do the same thing for the paragraph text. Content paragraph is aligned center. They are all going to the center of the border. And right here, you need to move the whole. We want to move the whole border to the center. What do we do about that? Let's give it a margin O. And if you do that, if you give the margin O to, it takes to the center. So that was what I was talking about. That if you set the margin to 0 it automatically sends it to the center. So right here, I want to bring it down a little bit. So you can give me a part of 2 and let's say 2 rem and come down 2 rem O2. Now we bring the little down. Now this is normal. Now we can style it and give many other kind of things to it. We can see border radius. And the border radius is how the border is styled. You can do a border radius 2 rem, going to have a shape just like this. So you can see the border change itself, the size of the border changes, and you can also set it to some specific places. You can see border top right radius, border bottom left right. So this is the border top right radius. That means you are going to style right here. Now the style is going to put in that place. So I give it, let's see, 3 rem. So if I save this and check it out, you can see that is the only place that's having, the rest is having normal shape. All right, so you have the many kind of border styles that you have. Border color, you can give it a border color. Let's say border color, let's say blue. If I save this and preview it in the browser, you can see the border color now changes to blue. If you want to see it very well, you need to change the weight of the sides. So right here, you can change it, let's say 20 pixels, something. I'm going to see something like this. So that's how the borders are created. CSS. Now let's have a real example right here. So right here, let's set this to 1 pixels as well, and change this to, let's say, green. And let's also make the background of the actual content to green. And let's give it a color of white. Let's change the font of this to, let's say, Calibri. And the font of this to also Calibri. And let's save this. And let's set the border to none. If I save this, check it out, you can see we have a very beautiful thing right here. Let's change the border top right radius from there and save this. And you can see it displays perfectly. So that's how we work with borders in CSS. So try to create more things and do many things with a border. All right, now let's move on. If you made it this far to this course without giving up, we are going to learn about outlines. Now the outlines works with elements in the HTML such as the input and the borders at the bottom, just like you can see on the screen. And the outlines is what you see around the border the moment the user clicks on that element, and it never disappears. Let me show you an example right here. So right here, let's create an input just like this and give a placeholder of content. So let's save it and run it to our live server by clicking on the Go Live at the bottom of the Visual Studio Code. You can see the input field is on our web page right now. Now, the moment I use the insertion points on it, you see some black border around it. That is the outline. So what if you don't want the outline to come? We want to These are just to type without having outlines right there. There are many elements that we can add the outlines to, which is the buttons and the borders. We can also create a button and name it outline. So if I save this and check in the browser, you can see when I click on this, the outline also shows as well. Okay, so right here we are going to learn how to remove the outline from it. All right, now in our CSS, as we've already connected it, let's get the input. Let's get the elements by the tag name and open our curly braces, and inside the input right here, let's set the outline to auto, rem, and none. So you can see the outline is one rem. So if I save this, I click on it, you can see the outline becomes thin. It's not so big like at first. But if I see the outline is 200 pixels and I preview it in a browser, you can see the outlines are a little bigger right now. But if I change it to 30 rem and then we preview it in a browser, let's see. You can see the outline is also a little thin right now. But if I say the outline should be none, and I use the insertion point on it, you can see nothing happens. Nothing shows. The outline doesn't show right here. The outline doesn't show. When the user add insertion point is the same, when the user clicks on it is the same. No outline shows when the user is typing. There is no outline. But if I remove this thing, if I remove the outline from here and I preview it in the browser, you can see when I click on it, the outline also comes. But if there's nothing in the outline, then the outline will show with the border around it. Just like this. When I click on it, you can see the outline shows 100%. But if I remove the outline from it, as I did input, and when I say outline to none, and I saved it, and I check in the browser, you can see the outline is gone, right? So many people use the outline to just set it to none, just like that. So they won't have difficulties in doing it. Alright, so let's move on to the next lesson. Make sure to try the outlines on any other kind of thing that have borders and things. So if you don't want to have any outlines to make your website much more beautiful and having modern web designs. Modern web designers do not use outlines. They set the outlines to none all the time. Because if the outlines are always out there, the user doesn't feel much more comfortable on the website. Alright, let's move on to the next lesson. Let's talk about overflow in this chapter. Overflow helps you hide elements or help you scroll through elements under a border or under the width or the height of something. Let me show you a real example right here in this HTML file. A real world example I'm going to show you about the scroll is, let's say, through a list, through any kind of other thing. Let's say we have list of, let's say, words. Let's create a heading tag of words. In other words, let's create an ordered list. Another list, and let's give it a type of, let's start with 1. All right, so another ordered list. Let's have some words through the list right here. So we can see del. And let's copy the del many times and paste it, because this is a project, so we don't need to try and brainstorm and think about it. So if you have done this, head to your browser and see what you've done. Now this is what we've done. We have created a list of words right here, and we have another list of words starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to show you how we can add an overflow feature, an overflow effect to this thing we have created right here. Alright, so in your CSS file, get the URL elements by tag name, which is URL, the URL element by tag name. So get the URL elements. And we are going to the URL element by tag name. Now, what we need to do is to set the width. So you can set the width. I'm setting to 300 pixels. You can set it to what you want. And I'm also setting the height to, let's say, 10 VH. Right? If you check, nothing happens because you have not added any overflow effects to it. Alright, so what are the heights? Let's do an overflow. An overflow, we have many types. You have overflow, auto, hidden, scroll, visible, inherit, initial, and set. Right, we are going to start with heading. And this is going to ensure that anything that goes beyond 10 VH of height and 300 pixels of width it's going to disappear. Let me save this. And as I check in the browser, you can see all the elements that goes beyond 10 feet of height disappears. And because you don't have anything on the width, that's why. So that's how you can work with the hidden overflow. Now we also have Auto, and Yoto gives it a scroll bar for you to scroll through the lists. As you can see, you can scroll through them right here. You can scroll through the list through it. And you also have scroll as well. The scroll is going to help you. It's going to give you two scroll bars, horizontal scroll bars and vertical scroll bars. And it's going to help you to navigate through that list from horizontal form to the vertical form. So you can set the overflow to scroll. So if I save this and I check in the browser, you can see it has a width of 300 pixels right here. But because we have nothing to that place, it will not work right here. But you can see I can scroll down. We have a vertical scroll down and a horizontal scroll bar. I can decide to pull some of them to the left and pull some of them to the right, and you can see the horizontal bar also working. Then I can push some to the left and I can push some to the right. I can push some to the center and go ahead and sort of have some things with it. So let's try pixel and then center all of the items right here. If it works, now you can see all of them goes to the center and you can navigate through them as well. So that's how you can work with your overflow in CSS. You can try and build awesome website with the overflow effect in CSS. Alright, so this is an example of what the overflow really means and what you can do with the overflow in a cascading style sheet. Let's move on to the next lesson. Let's learn about float in this lesson. Float in the cascading style sheets. The float helps you to take elements from one end of the page to the other end, from some left page to the right page to the center to any kind of place. Or you can even take a whole list or a whole division to the left, a whole division to the right. You can take a specific thing from the left to the right. You can move it along the website using the floats. So it floats items on the website. Let's have a heading over here, name it, give a class of rights, and type in right from here. Let's create another hidden tag and give it a class of left. So change the class to left and change the value to left. Now, if you are done with this, head to your CSS file. We're gonna get a right element by ID for my class name. Now we've gotten the element by class name right here. So we can apply the float to it. So let's do the floats. Can give a float of inline starts, inline end, left, right, and down. So if I go to right, and I save this, you can see this goes to the right, and this is on the left. Alright, so that's how the float works. It's not anything amazing. You can just float something to left and right. I can also show you another example by using lists. Let's create an unordered lists and give them some values. Copy this and paste it many times. Now let's get the unordered lists element by tag name in the CSS and float it to left to right. So right here we are floating everything. We are taking everything in the unordered list to the right of the page. So you can see all of them goes to the right. As you can see on this page right now. So that's how the float works. You can float anything, any elements, any time you can get the element from the HTML to the CSS and you can float it using a cascading style sheet. Alright, let's move on to the next lesson. Alright, so let's talk about flexboxes. The flexboxes in the cascading style sheet also work with HTML as well. The flexboxes can be used in mobile responsiveness. It can be used in turn items, taking something to the left, taking something to the right, but using a flexbox without using a float, but a flexbox. In modern web design, you use flexbox, not float. If you keep using float, you cannot do it 100%, and it's not going to be effective like the flexbox. So let me show you an example of the flexbox. The flexbox, they're like boxes which have a parent element and child element. So let's create a division right here and name it boxes. And inside the division, we are going to create another divisions of another boxes. So this is going to be the first box, box one. So you save this and copy it 3 times and paste it. So these are the children elements inside the boxes. So these are children elements, box. So let's change all of them to box 2 and box 3, right? I think this works well. So let's give this a heading tag of, let's say, 1. Let's give this heading tag of 2. Let's give this heading tag with a value of 3. Alright. Now let's save this, and if you check in the browser, you can see we have this. So as if I made a mistake right here with the third one. The 3 supposed to be here. Alright. Right now we have this in your web page right now. Let's head to the CSS and style it and understand how the Flexbox really works. So right here, we get the elements by class name of the parent element. The parent element is the boxes. So the boxes, and the boxes, we set it inline flex display, we set it to inline flex right here, and go to inline flex. When I save this and I check you previous browsers, go to inline flex, you can see it's no more like this. It's according to itself. But if I remove the inline flex from there, it will display in block form. It will display in a column form, not in a row form. Alright, so let's set the display to flex, inline flex, or flex display to flex, or something like this. Alright, so let's give it flex direction of column. Now we're going to edit the boxes. We are not coming back here right now. So we have to edit the box 1. Let's give it a order of 1 pixel, solid and crimson. Move on to the next one. Give it a width of, let's say, 150 pixels, and give it a height of 10 each, and give it a color of white. Save this and copy the box 3 times. Copy the whole box style 3 times and paste it 3 times. Now this is going to be for box 2, and this is going to be for box 3. Change the colors to avoid confusion. You can choose to use the same colors, but to avoid confusion, change the colors for better understanding. So if I save this right here, then we check in the browser, you can see we have some stuff right here, and they have some width and some height and different colors. Now let's add the background colors to it to make it easier to spot. Give it this a background of blue because it's blue, and give this a background of green because it is green, and give this a background of crimson because it is crimson. Now let's see this, and as you can see, it displays simply we have the red, the crimson, the green, and the blue. We can edit the width in some ways, but just give them some margins so they will fit with each other. So give the box 1 a margin of 1 rem, box 2 a margin of 1 rem as well, and a box 3 a margin of also 1 rem. I'll save that and check in the browser. Now you can see it works really well. The reason why the numbers are moving is we didn't set the width to the height to enough area, so we can change the height to 15 pixels, 15 VH each. As I'm changing it, you can change the height to 15 VH. And if I save this, you can see it works well right now. Now they are in good position for a Flexbox. Okay. Now let's talk about this. This is the key thing here that we are going to use for the Flexbox. So you can set this display to inline flex. That was the first key component. Now inline flex is now inline. Alright. Now we're going to do the flex direction of column. We can also do the flex direction of row. It's going to change and reverse to the row form. As you can see here, it's no more column, it's now row. You can change it to column, to row, to column reverse, to whatever. Now you can see the column reverse starts it from like the highest to lowest. And you see the row reverse, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to start from the highest to lowest on the row. So 3, 2, 1. But if I just change it to like that, this one will happen. So right here, we can do many kind of stuff. We can add many stuff to it. So we can change the width and the height. Let's say, let's make each of them 350 pixels. And the height of, let's say, 50 VH each of them. So 350, and let's give the height of 50 VH. Let's edit the last box 350 pixels and 50 VH. And you can see now they appear very big. Now you can style them, like let's say you want some of the content to be here, some of them to be here, and some of them to be here, so that you can make your website very responsive on both the mobile and the website. So right here you can put a different content here. Let's say you are creating a social network website. The user profile is going to be here, the user's post is going to be here, and the user's, let's say, details is going to be here. So it depends on what you want. And if you display it in a column, display it in a column form, and you see this, as you can see, it displays on column like this. So you can put some different content here, another different content here, another different content here, and you can create amazing website with it. It's not always that you add colors. I'm just using the colors to show you how it's like. You can remove the color and add some different content right here and make it much more easier to use. Alright, I'm going to, in a project that I'm going to build after this course, I'm going to use the Flexbox. So I'm going to see how the Flexbox is used in the real world of web programming. Alright, let's move on to the next course. Sorry, let's move on to the next lesson. Let's talk about the media queries. The media queries in a cascading style sheet helps the web developer to show how the website is going to display on your mobile phone, on a desktop, on a tablet, or any other kind of device that access the internet. So let me show you an example right here. So let's have a heading tag of, let's say, QWESICODES. And inside the heading tag, as you have created this in a browser right here, you have QWESICODES showing on the web page. In any empty area of this website, let's click on it and look for inspect right here. So if you click on the inspect, you will see something opening. Behind the element where I am, where the mouse pointer is, behind the element, you can see something right here where you see toggle toolbar. If you can't find it, just press Ctrl plus Shift plus M. So if you press Ctrl plus Shift plus M, that page is going to open. Now you see Facebook for Android on page 6. So on page 6, this is how our website is going to show on our phone. But you can choose on iPhone 12 Pro. This is how our website is going to show on iPhone 12 Pro. On Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, this is how our website is going to show on Samsung Galaxy S Ultra. So right here, I can give the heading tag a color of red. It's going to also be in red on the mobile. But if I want to change it, this is how the media query is. You create ads, then you add media, then inside the media you say max width, and the default one is 700 pixels. So max width 700 pixels. That means after the website is, let's say the width is set to 700 pixels, this is what's going to happen to the website. So if now we have set it, let's give it a color of blue. Sorry, let's give a heading tag. So this is a new CSS. So you need to add the element before you add it. So get the element by the tagging just like that. And set the color to, let's say, blue. So if I save this, it's going to change to blue because it's on mobile. And I've said to the CSS that whenever it goes to mobile, it should get to blue, but when it gets to your desktop, it should be red. So right here, you see it's becoming blue, but when I take it to the normal page, it becomes red. But if I take it to less than 700 pixels, it becomes blue. If I take it to the normal page, it becomes red. So let's say this is for 400 pixels. Let me copy this media query right here and paste it somewhere else and change the widths. So this is going to be 500 pixels and this is going to be
600 pixels. So it's going to be on a mobile, and it's going to be on a tablet, and it's going to be on like a small screen on a laptop. So the laptop, it should be green. On a tablet, it should be yellow. On a mobile phone, it should be blue, and on a normal desktop, it should be red. So as you can see, it's red, but as I change the size, it changes to blue. So right here on the tablet is blue, on the laptop is blue, on the desktop is red, and on the mobile is also blue. On the mobile is blue, on the desktop is red, and on the tablet and on the laptop is also green. So right here, if I inspect the elements and go back there, you can see it's now blue because I've set it to blue already. So let's delete all of this and let me give you a real world example of how it looks like. So right here, let's have an input field, or let's have a button of, let's say, click. So right here, you see it's the same. The button also comes on the web page, click, just like that. But inside our CSS, let's change the color of the heading tag to red, and the button to let's edit it by giving a padding of 1 rem to the height and 3 rem to the width. And let's give the outline of none, and let's give it a border of none, and let's give a background of, let's say, green. Let's give it a color of white, and let's give it a, or this is good. So as you can see, this is how it looks like on the mobile, but we want to change it. So let's copy this right here and create a media query, and give it a max width of 500 pixels, and paste this here and change the color. So right here inside our mobile phone, the color is going to be, let's say, blue, and our button is going to have a border radius of, let's say, 2 rem. So if I save this, you can see on the mobile phone the button changes, but on the desktop the button is like this. But on the mobile phone, this is how the button looks like. We have many other areas. Here's the iPad Air. So iPad Air is going to be like this. On iPad Mini, it's going to be like this. But you want to take it to the center when it comes here. Alright, so let's create a body tag right here. Let's get the body tag and send everything to the center. So right here in our mobile area, it's going to the center. So as you can see, it's now in the center. On iPhone 12, it's going to be on the center, just like this. So this is how it's going to show. When it comes to the desktop, it's not in the center, but when it goes to the mobile, it gets to the center. Right. So that's what you need to know about the media queries. So when you are creating a website, you need to make sure it's also both responsive on the mobile as well as the uh, desktop and the tablet and the others. Because if it's not responsive on the mobile, it's going to be useless because many people access the internet using a mobile phone. So you need to make sure your website is responsive. This is the final part of this HTML and CSS hypertext markup language and cascading style sheet. Full course by QWESICODES on YouTube. Alright, so in this lesson, we're going to build a project. We've learned all the basics in both HTML and CSS and a little advanced topics. And now we're about to build our own project, build a real world website, and start to move on to build many projects and build our career in web development. Alright. So in this video, we are going to build a project. Just the file, the folder we created, we are going to use our same folder for the project. So we are going to set up a website for cars, for selling cars. So that's the website I'm going to build. But it's not going to be any e-commerce. We're going to build on the home page of the website. Alright, so let's start the website by creating a division of main. So under this main, let's have a heading tag of our cars. So our cars.com. That's the main. But let's make our class. And under this, let's create another div called it nav. So this means navigation bar.
where the user can click on the home and the other stuffs. Let's create an unordered list. Let's give it a list of items. Home. Let's paste this many times and say this will be called cars. This will be called repair. And the last one will be all about us. Alright. So you're not going to build any sub page for these people. So we're just going to do something like this. So now let's check in our browser. So let me run this and okay, so preview it with your live server. Now you have something like this. Alright, so we have built this thing. Now let's style it with the CSS. So let's get the main by the class. But first we should start with this. Remember I told you something like this. That is for the whole thing, the whole HTML. I will start the whole thing. So let's give this a margin of 0, padding of 0, a default box sizing of border box. And let's give it text decoration none, list style of none. And now let's save it. Check in the browser. Now you can see we have everything in clear right here, which is so we can now move and build our website. Okay. After this, let's get a class of me. Let's set the height to let's say 12 each. Let's set the width to 100%. And let's set the overflow to hidden. Sorry for the wrong spell. So let's set the overflow to hidden. And let's display it as flex. So let me save this and let me give it a text align of center so that we go to the center of the page. Alright, so this is what you wanted to do. So as it's done right here, we have successfully configured the main, and now we can move on and create our website. So let's head to let's edit the nav, which is this part. So this is the part that we are editing, where I've highlighted the navigation bar. So the navigation bar, this is what we're going to do. We are going to give it a flex of 1. We're going to give it a margin of 20 pixels and 0 pixels for the width. So let's see this what we get. Alright, now this goes here and this also comes here successfully. Now let's head straight to the the main H1, the main heading tag, which is right here. The main heading tag. So this is what you're going to edit. So let's give this a flex of 1 as well. And let's preview it in the browser. Now you can see this also appears nice in the center. Now let's give this also a margin of let's say 1 rand for it to make it quite a little cooler. I think it's great. Now let's head to the nav ULLI. So this is the nav ULI that you're editing. So this is under the nav, you have nav.ul as I explained about the selectors. So your nav, that means you are looking for this thing. So you've selected the nav ULI and I'm going to edit the li. So let's set the display to inline flex. So that it will be something like this. So as you can see, they are all inline on our website right now. Now let's give them a margin of 1 rem as well. Let's start with 0 and 1 rem for the width. And I think this works well. Now let's change the 0 for the height to also 1 as well. I think this will now be all in line with the other logo, so we can style it well. So let's change the font family of this to let's say Kali, and let's give it a font weight of say 500. So you can see this works well. Our cars, this is the website, and this is the navigation bars. All right. So I'm not going to add any colors to this, but we should just add some kind of thing when we click on it. So I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. So right here, nav URLI, you're going to give it a color. Why? It's going to be in the form of hover. So we have something called hover. So when the user hovers the text, so let's make something like this hover. Remove the A and make something like this hover. Alright. So this nav URLI hover, this means when the user clicks on, when the user mouse hovers over it, it should do something like this. The font family should change to let's say Sego UI, and the font variant should be small caps. Yeah, and the text decoration should be underlined, should be overline, yeah, something like this. So when you cut that one, you can see this happens. So this is what it means. Now we change the color to black. Your A, change the A color to black. The reason why we brought A is because it's a link, and a link it comes with the default text decoration. So we want to remove all those kind of blue stuff from it and align so that we make it simple. So this is what you have done. Now let's change the font weight of the hover. Font weight of the hover to, let's say, 700. So when I do something like this, see it's very bold. Navigate through successfully. All right. Now let's go back to this and change the font family itself to something like uh any random text, So I think this works. So yeah, so we have created the nav successfully. Let's give it a transition so that we take some time to, that's an advanced topic in CSS that we're going to learn. So stay tuned in my next videos. I'm going to teach you about that as well. So with the nav UL li a hover. So right here we say transition. It should be 0.5 seconds. That means it will take 0.5 seconds before it shows successful. So you see, it takes some time. It's not too fast. It's very slow, simple like that. So when you click on it, it takes you to that area. So we have successfully built the first area, which is the navigation bar. Let's bring the font size a little bigger. Let's make it a little bigger as it is. So it's not that big. So if this works, I think this works well, alright. So now let's do it just like this. Now let's move on to the next part of the website, which is the content. So let's jump off this and create another division called the content. And inside this content right here, we are going to have some content on it and its background image. Alright, and the content I'm going to have here is we're going to have a heading tag of, let's say, rent or buy amazing supercars here. So then you put a button and call it buy. Or call it, let's say proceed or go to store, go to collections. Yeah. So now you can see we have this rent or buy supercars, go to collections on our website successfully. Now let's start it. I've gotten an image right here, which is a Porsche image that I got. So you should go and get a car image now you can get and bring it to the folder in which you are creating the project. Okay. So inside this CSS file, come down here and type the content. So I'm going to start the content. We're going to give it a text align of center. So we are going to move everything up to the center. We're going to give it a padding of, let's say, 2 rem, and let's preview it and it comes down a little. Let's add more padding to it. Let's say 5 rem. I think this. Let's add some more 10. So it comes down a little. Okay, so this is enough for us. Now let's give this a background image. So I already have mine here, so let's get a background image of my Porsche. You can also go and get an image right here and add it. And let's set the background size to cover. Now let me save this, and you can see now the background cover is successfully and very beautiful. Now let's change the width, the height, to let's say 70 VH. 70 VH. Now let me check in the browser if as well. Let me add more to, let's say, 100. Alright, so I think this is enough. Alright, so this is the website that we have built. So rent or buy amazing supercars here. Let's edit the content inside. But first we need to change something here. The height. Let's change the height of the nav to 10 VH so that it becomes a little smaller. And let's change the margin of the nav URLI to, let's say, 0. Let's see if it also goes up a little. And now let's add some 0.5 to it. It works well. Now this is good. Okay, so we can move on. So let's start the content right here. So the content, which is the each one, the heading tag and the bottom. So we are going to give the heading tag a color of white. We are going to give it a box shadow, text shadow of 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 3 pixels, and black. So let's preview it in the browser. You can see this happens. Now let's give it a font family of, let's say, several scripts. Right now, let's give it a font size of, let's say, 2 rand, or let's say 3 rand. Be better. Right, so rent or buy amazing supercars here. So you can see we have this on our website. I think if you change the background, it's not that nice. Let's change this. This works well for you. You can use any other kind of thing that you like. Let me change the white to something that will be a little clean. Let me make it white because I think you don't get any color that fit well. Let's try this. If it works well right now, I think this works well. So let's use this and change this to white. Now this is good. We can move on and edit the button. So let's move on to the content. But now we are going to give it a pattern of, let's say, 1 rem for the height and 3 rem for the width. I think it works well. So under this, we're going to give it a background of, I think it's okay. So let's change the background color to about, let's say, black, or actually something like this. And I give it a color of white. So I think this works now. Then give it a border color of black as well. Actually, the 3, something like this. Now let's add a hover width. So the hover is going to help you change the appearance of the button the moment your mouse hovers on it. So when our mouse hovers on it, we want to give the background of white, the border color of #333, which is the black, the color of #333, kind of stuff like this. And let's give it a transition 0.6 seconds. So as you can see, when you tap on it, there's something to the button. I can see it's very nice, very awesome. Rent or buy amazing supercars right here. So go to collections, you click on it, and the button is also run successfully. All right, so we're going to build a first home page. Now let's come down here and move on to the next area, which is the form area. So we're going to create a form in the form, and inside this form we're going to have each one of, let's say, form. Let's write to us, or let's say sign up something, sign up, just like this. All right, now we are going to give it, I'm going to also create another form just like this, and I'm going to give it, let's say, form field for the class, because I've already created another form inside this. We're going to create a label, let's say full name. I'm going to get an input of text with no placeholder inside it. Right, so if you scroll down, you can see we have this right here. Let's duplicate this many times and copy it because we're building a very big form right here. All right, now let's change this from the full name to the email and the type to the email as well. And let's change the label from here to the password and the type of the text to password. And let's make this confirm password. Let's change this to confirm password as well. So password. The password is going to help us hide it when we type. So we won't hide it when we type. All right. Now let's add one more input. It's going to be let's say agree to our terms and conditions. So we're going to have a label right here and say our terms and conditions. So accept our terms and conditions. I'm going to give it an input of checkbox, and this is going to be text. Yeah, so this works well. Now let's add the last thing, which is the button of submit. All right, now if you submit, then you sign into the website successfully. Okay, now let's start what you've written in the HTML by starting the form field, and let's take everything to the center. Let's align, let's take everything to the center. So everything goes to the center right here. And let's edit the form field h1. Form field heading tag. Let's give it a font weight of 900, a font family of Segu UI. Now let me save this, and you can see this works well. Nice. Okay. Now let's give it a margin of 100. So right here, let's move to the next area, which is the form itself. And let's say form into the form field form, just like this. So this means we are looking for the form field form, which is the forms that we created right here. So we have gotten the element by class name and the element by tag name right here. Now let's take the display to block with the form field. Let's edit the label first, the input and the label. So the form inputs and label. Now let's give it a display of block and a margin of root. So if I save this, you can see it displays block just like this, so that you can sign up and do many other kind of amazing stuffs just like this. So here we have the form and everything right here. So let's edit. So one RAM and O2 going to work well. So now we have this right here. Let's style the label itself. So the form label, I'm gonna give it a font family of, let's say, Arial, and a font weight of, let's say, 200, a font size of, let's say, 1.1 red. Now let's preview it. This works well. All right, now let's come to the input. Form input, you're going to give it a padding of 1 rem and say 3 rem, just like we did today. So we have given it a width of 1 rem and a height of 1 rem and a width of 3 rem. So I think this works well. So we can sign it successfully and do everything here. So we have rid of 4. Let's remove the outline, which, as I explained, when you tap on it, you see some black border around it. When I tap on it, you can see some black thing around it. Let's remove that by setting the outline to none. Now, if I save this and I check in the browser, you can see the outline is gone. So when I click on it, there's no outline that comes. And you can see even Google has found out that this is a form, and it's asking you to accept the terms and conditions. All right. So right here, let's move on to the. We can style this a little bit by, let's say, giving a border radius of let's say 2 rem, and we are going to style the whole thing just like this, so that the middle term is going to be much more easier. So we'll make it border radius of 2 rem. Now let's move on to the button. So form button, go and copy the one that we built right here, the content button that we built. So copy this and come down here to this and paste it right here. So when you paste it, you change this to 4. I'm going to use the same button for the down one and the top one as well. So just like it's still at it right now, let me give you some time for you to look at it and type it. So this is what you should use for the button parts. Now we've reached about 121 lines of code for the HTML, for the CSS, and 50 lines of code for the HTML. You can see we have set up an amazing website right here. Here we have set up a very amazing website. Let's change the background to something much more amazing, to green. If it work, let me see what's going to happen. And then we can change the color right here to white. Let's see. Okay, now I think it's all right. Let me give it a padding. The padding is already done, so let me give it a margin. The margin, let's see, 1 meg. I think this works pretty much amazing. So right here, you can tap on it. If I click on it, it will bring you back to Unite. Press submit, bring me back to the top. Now this, we have set up an amazing website right here. So we come to our website, of course, our cars. We have home, cars, repair, about us. You have built this. We have built a button right here with the content rent or buy amazing cars right here, and we have a form right here that user can sign up and submit the information on the website that we have just built. So you have just built an amazing website right here. Congratulations on building your first website through this course, through this HTML and CSS course. Now you have finished learning HTML and CSS, let me give you a quick word of what to do next. Okay, let's move on. Congratulations on learning this HTML and CSS course on QWESICODES on my channel right here, and now building your own project. You can now move on to keep on building more projects to enhance your skills in the cascading style sheet. I'm going to give a link in the description that you can use to download many templates and edit it yourself. Like you can head to Bootstrap, you can head to Free CSS, you can head to many other websites. All the links in the description right here that you can get there and you can download your own template and edit it with the HTML and CSS skills and build an amazing website right now for mobile responsiveness. For mobile responsiveness reasons, you need to have those kind of stuffs. Right now, after practicing for enough time, you can then move on to the JavaScript, and I'm going to do a JavaScript course, and it's going to be launched on December 2023. So after learning this successfully, wait, December 2023, the JavaScript course is also going to be launched on right here on my channel, QWESICODES. All right, I hope you enjoy this course right here and you've understand the key concepts and you have learned everything I need to know in HTML and CSS, and you have built an amazing project in HTML and CSS. All right, if you really like this video, make sure to subscribe and help my channel grow so that I can do more amazing videos and help you improve your skills in technology. This is QWESICODES on YouTube. I am Alex Nyanteng and I'm the creator of this course. All right, I'm going to see you in my next video, which is going to be on the JavaScript. All right, bye bye.